Night and the Gemini crew.
When you're here in the night.
Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Giving the world light when you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night.
Sometimes things are just absurd.
So let's just talk about the world, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night.
Let's just talk about the world. Give this page another curl.
'Cause you're here with us tonight.
Oh, don't you know it? Don't you know it? I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be receiving this transmission. It is I, Mike Martins, welcome all to Mike in the Night. Whether you're watching us in your cabin in the woods, or your condo box in the sky, or your detached bungalow outside of a major metropolis, or you're out in the woods in your cabin and you got a nice log fire burning there, sit back, crack open a nice sparkling water, crack open a window, let in some breeze, because you're tuned in to Mike in the Night. Today is the 18th of April. Wow. We are 4 months into what is arguably the worst year in history. I think the last time that the last time that it was this bad, like you could mark down the worst year, would probably be 1918. A Great War. You had the Great War. It was called the Great War, the war to end all wars, the Great War. Then you had the Spanish influenza. Then you had everything under the weather in 1918, right? And I think there was something else that broke out too that year, that 1917, 1918, something else actually majorly happened in that year too. I can't remember what it was. I know the Great War, I think, came to an end, but it wasn't that. It was something else happened that year. All right. We'll see what's going on here in the comment section. All right, we got quite a few people already in the comments. Tina Flo, Owen, can't read that. 07 Luscan in the house. Michael Lewant, Spartacus, Freedom Prospector, Nagan, Poser Bob, Washington, Doug Washington Bound, Terry Tony. I said that, I think. Oh, Kevin Tavares, M. Howden. Everybody's in the house. Stephen Sewell. Jasmine. So glad I made it to your live show, says Terry Tony. I'm so glad you made it. So glad everybody's here tonight. And I just love going live, guys. I think going live is the way to do it. I mean, you're always on the mark. You can't be, it does take a lot. You get tired. You get really tired doing this. After a couple of hours, you're all psyched up and excited to get in. By the third hour, you're like you're so drained, right? Because you're reading comments, you're looking at the clock, you're looking at the stream to make sure it's not buffering. You're looking at the messages coming in from Skype. You got messages coming in from Twitch. You got messages coming from all these places. You know what I'm saying? So, wow. Anyways, we got the fake Kevin Thompson in the house. Unscripted, Owen. You know it, buddy. Don't you know it? Mike Martins, how long we got till food banks run out? I think, to be honest with you, I honestly think that food banks, what's going to happen with food banks, I think they are going to get a lot of federal support. I think they're going to send, I think the federal and provincial and municipal governments will start sending applications to the registered food banks and get them to basically fill out like a census type form. How many people on average do you have per month? How many people in your city? How many people? Like, I think that's what will happen when food banks run out. Captain Little Potato speaks mostly with Mickey Mouse socks on, says Freedom Prospector. Craig Cook loves China, buddy. I got it open for you, Craig, right here.
I love China.
Oh, man, it's so good.
China.
Oh, Mexico, sure.
Mexico.
Where's the Mexican government?
The Mexican government
will pay for it. Guys, don't forget to check out the store. Let me do a quick plug here. New Mike in the Night t-shirts. Mike in the Night, and there's the picture of me with my big boss glasses on the back. Oh, yeah, Lord Humongous in the house as usual. All right, let's go over to our plug here. Quick channel plug. I want to thank all my Patreon supporters for being there for me. I get a lot of messages on Patreon all the time. Yeah, we're watching Mike in the Night in the Veil of the Night. In the Veil of the Night. And at the bottom it says, our minds are a beacon in the veil of the night. For a strange kind of fashion, there's a wrong and a right. There it is. Our minds are a beacon. Mike in the Night. Yep. So we got Lower Scratcher, David Xavier in the house. So there it is, guys. Okay, so that's it, guys. Don't forget to, you could super chat me, whatever. There's a whole bunch of ways here. Guys, let's go over some show videos, over some show news. Did morning coffee with Mike this morning. Then there's this very racist video that was sent to me, but apparently it's 3 years old. Somebody sent me a link to the original video. It's 3 years old. It's right here. It's a very racist video that's out of China. And it has to deal, with what and how it works out. Don't forget to check out the little mini-series I got going on with Supreme Canon. Part 2 was the Civil War of the Elites. Part 2 ready to play. We're going to do Part 3 next week. Checkmate. Just going over a few things, guys. I'm doing my garden. I'm on Part 2. Tomorrow I'm going to turn over the rest of the garden. I'll keep you guys up to date on my garden. And yeah, there's just lots on the go right now, guys. Just commercial break-ins are on the highest level they have. Guys, you're watching this live. Share this right now. Go to the bottom of this transmission. Go to share. Share it now. Thank you to my Patreon supporters for buying me a coffee, $1 every month. This t-shirt, man, is nice. This Mike in the Night. Sorry, I keep going for the wrong guy. It's a nice shirt, man. The quality, V-neck. All the chicks love it, dude. And don't forget to message me show tips here on Facebook. I'm going to give you guys my Facebook. And I'm going to give you my Instagram if you guys want to send me show tips. And if I promise to have you on the show tonight, please message me on Skype so I could remember. Like, there's just so many people I spoke to. So nobody, panic or anything if I did not forget you. And you could always send me a tip on PayPal. Nobody panic. Okay, we're on the same team here. We're all here together. 07 Luscon says, house in my neighborhood in Toronto just sold over asking, apparently. Woo! Hey, 07 Luscon, you should find out if it was a Canadian that bought it. Oh, that tastes good. Nice lemon water. And then ask him where he works. Ask him where he works. Where do you work, man, to buy a $1.4 million house? That's same house in Kansas City. 110 grand. How did you do that in Canada? Seaweed, are you Aquaman? That's M. Howden in the house. Sorry. Sometimes I read comments, and then people that are listening to this and not watching this on their, while they're jogging or bike riding, many people have told me they've done that. They're like, what are you talking about? And then it's like, oh, you're reading comments. We got Poser Bob saying Toronto's isolated. Quarkanark saying 2.2 for Vancouver. Real Kevin Thompson says over asking. So we got real Kevin Thompson and fake Kevin Thompson in the house tonight. 07 Luson said you'll scope them out when they move in. Yeah, make a video. Send it to me on Skype. All right, guys, let's get down to some meat and potatoes. Your mic in the night before we get our first caller in. All right, let's get down to... Wow, this is depressing looking at this. All right, we got 2,331,000 COVID cases, 160,000 deaths. And everything's spiking trajectory. And how long? Now, this is the question I want to ask. How long before the United States of America stops tracking sick? Or stops tracking cases? How long before Spain? How long before Italy stops tracking cases? Because I told you guys China is going to be off this map soon. Right? China is going to be off this map real soon. It's not going to be it's going to be gone. The UK passed China. Turkey will pass China by tomorrow. Well, in the next hour and a half. Turkey, by the next hour, Turkey right here will pass China in the next hour. They're just like 300 cases away. Iran by tomorrow. Belgium by next week. Brazil by the end of this month. Russia by the end of the month. Canada by the end of first week of next month. Canada will pass China. Look at that, guys. And if you look at all the countries, a majority of them are in the Commonwealth. Look, United States, UK, Canada, they're all the top ones. Where the hell's Australia? Okay, am I blind? Is Australia even here? Oh my god, Australia's playing at China. Where the heck is Australia? Half that country's Chinese. Where the heck is Australia? Austria? Pakistan? Where's Australia? They're not even... Okay. USA, Spain, Italy, France, Germany, UK, China, Turkey, Iran, Belgium, Brazil, Russia, Canada, Netherlands, Switzerland, Portugal, India, Austria. Okay, well, Australia's not even on this map. So, the Australia and Canada are going to pull a total China. Timothy, what's up, buddy?
Hey, man, you just missed it. It's up a bit. You just missed Australia. Keep going down.
It could going down.
It's down there.
Holy crap! It's like way down the list.
Yeah.
Huh?
What's up, buddy?
Did you hear about that Ruby Princess?
No, tell us, what is the Ruby Princess?
Ruby Princess is some cruise ship.
Oh, okay, tell us.
That landed in New South Wales.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a whole pile of people with the coronavirus on it.
Okay, so are they having them flyers and letting them go free?
The police have got involved because they're suing some American couple who got it and died, are suing the ship operators. Or something like that.
Okay. I'm surprised that they have very little cases in Australia. I'm so shocked. I'm pretty sure. Okay, you're just outside of Sydney. Do you have a lot of in your area? Do you see a lot of Chinese people, or is it just?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of Chinese people here in Australia.
I would have figured it would have been way up there
on this cruise ship, Ruby Princess.
Yeah.
There's a whole pile of coronavirus patients. The police are involved, and they're gonna they're suing them, and it's a big ordeal. Just type in Ruby Princess into YouTube.
I'll look it up in a sec.
Timmy,
let me ask you a question. Do you think Australia's going to pull a China and under test and kind of lie? Because I know Australia and Canada are the same thing. They want to the reason why
I think so.
Do you
I
think
don't
so?
think they're testing a lot of people.
That's
They didn't want to
because
test me.
I think you had it. I think you had this thing because you were in really bad shape 4 or 5 weeks ago when you called into the show and you had troubles breathing. You were in pretty bad shape, and then you've been getting better slowly over time, which is God bless. Thank you. We've been praying for you here on the channel. And then they wouldn't test you because why? Because you haven't been overseas.
Yeah.
They're acting
So one bloke in the line worked in tourism, and that's why he was getting tested. So he worked in tourism.
Okay.
And my cousin was in the line, and he was in the line because of work or something.
Right.
People at work or something. And when the person in front of me in the line was this old lady who looked like she had like a hanky over her mouth, and she looked really sick. Really sick.
Did they test her?
I don't know, but she walked along, and then the doctors came and said, if you haven't been overseas or been in contact with someone overseas, don't get tested. We don't have enough testing kits, and it's 1.5 meter contact. That's the distance you have to be within someone, 1.5 meters.
Okay. Yeah, I think.
But then when my physio called me, physio called me, and they said they've got more testing kits, so I should go and get tested.
And did you, or you just stayed home?
I didn't get tested. No.
Yeah. Okay. But you're feeling better.
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. It's just my chest that's sore now.
You know, it's sore
It's
not because of infection. It's sore because of coughing a lot, and you've just damaged it, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, all right, buddy, I'm going to let you go. I appreciate your update for the day, update for this Saturday. Call us in again next week, okay?
All right, mate.
God bless you.
All right.
That's our man Timothy, just west of Sydney, Australia. I think, this is just me. I think Canada... Okay, here's the deal. The reason why Canada still thinks this is not a big deal, or I don't know where Canada is with this whole thing. I know in the States, they know it's a big deal, but they want to start lifting restrictions because people are out on the streets protesting this lockdown. Okay? We went archivally on the show. We've been doing this for weeks now. Since the last week of December, we've been running and talking about this situation. We have been archivally bringing up articles from the Spanish influenza, and it's the same thing. Everything's closed. Moving picture halls, pool halls, not theaters. It was stage theaters closed. Everything's closed until further notice. And everything was closed. And then they passed a rule that they must wear a face mask in September or October of 1918. And it was all over the news. It was all over the Chicago Tribune. It was over the New York Times. It was all over everywhere. Okay? I even got newspaper clippings from like it was the Miami Herald or the Miami Triumph at the time from 1918 that basically said, or was it Fort Lauderdale? I can't remember. That basically said the same thing. So, distancing. Do not, be careful going to work, going for this, in the Everglades. Watch out for this. Guys, it's happening. It's re-happening again. It's rehashing. It happened 102 years ago. We got David Xavier saying Mike Martin's Trudeau wants us to stay under house arrest. Realistically, it will slow it down. The less we congregate and touch each other and hang out and hug and all that stuff, it will slow it down.
China. I love China.
So, all right, let's go back here. So Australia's way down here. I think Australia is pulling a China, so is Canada pulling a China. Like, I could understand it's like a lot of these, like Canada's got 33,000 cases. But then we read the article on my channel, okay, and it was a big one from a fake news source too. I think it was the CBC Canada. Hold on. We read it on my channel. Let's go to videos. It's way back here. Layoffs ahead. Mississippi. Where is this? I read an article for you guys, and it was very important because it discussed how Canada is under testing and cutting back on testing. Like, a lot. They're cutting back quite a bit on testing. And that is very dangerous. Just trying to see if I have it here. Americans will run. 50% of Americans will run out of money by the end of this month. We got the Lost Canuck calling in. Yo, Mario.
Hey, buddy. How are you, man?
How are you? How are you, my brother?
Good. How's everything with you?
Just chilling out here. You know, take it easy, man. Take it easy.
Hold on. Let me get my video out. You see me now?
Hold on. I don't know if I could see you. Are you? No, I just see a bridge.
Hold on.
I almost see you. I almost see you. There you are. Tilt the camera down a bit.
Hold on. There we go. See me now?
Yeah, I see you perfect, guys. All right, guys. This is my man, Mario DeCettis, the Lost Canuck in the house on Mike in the Night.
It's about time I stayed up, eh?
I know. You've been busy. You've been working. You've been doing your thing. I'm not going to blame
Actually,
you.
I haven't been working, Mike. We've been let go. I think it's going to be, this will be my third week coming on Monday.
Okay.
So we were shut down. Like the provincial government shut us down. Excuse me. So as we speak, we are shut down and doing some work at home, but not full time. So that's how it is, right?
Well, take it easy for a while.
That's all.
Yeah.
Call it a brief vacation, as we say.
So tell us what's going on. What's on your mind? Tell us what's going on. Come on.
I know there's a lot of people speculating a lot of things. It's people are getting frustrated, got more time to think. You have people that have immune deficiencies, which my wife's one. God bless, she's well, and she takes care of herself. But those people are prone to this, and they have to be very cautious, no matter what people think. It's always to be precautious of everything. But it's the way the media tries to play more of a doctor than all of them. If you watch Fox News, they have Dr. Oz on, and he's explaining to you the drug that...
Mario. Can you lower the TV in the background? Here, laughing in the background, and it's mixing in with your audio. And what's happening is when the TV laughs, it cuts off what you're trying to tell us. Oh, you're moving. Oh, okay.
I'm moving.
Oh, you're in the closet.
Quieter.
Good.
Everybody's sleeping. Okay, so what's happening is we have the Canadian media telling us the deaths. Now, one death is too many, Mike. Yeah. And I'm not saying that this is not a virus. I'm not saying that this is a conspiracy. I'm not saying anything like that. I want people to understand, sometimes they put fear on people. Fear creates problems, health problems, anxiety, mental issues. Especially
worse problems than the virus.
That's right. And especially when we have a lockdown, people get frustrated. We're so used to programming, going to work, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, getting out there. Now, all of a sudden, it's shut down. Now, my question is to everybody that's out there, especially the liberals that are out there watching your channel and everybody that's so cautious, wearing these big face masks. What happened when we had all these children missing? Did we shut down the province? Did we shut down the country? No. And we had H1N1 with numbers that were out staggerous over this, and we never shut it down. So now we're shutting it down. We got a problem.
Can I tell you why?
Go ahead,
Mario. It's because it's so contagious. Can I tell you? And then let me tell you something else, Mario. I believe that this was a very, very serious problem last week of December. Do you know why?
Go ahead.
Because of China. If this came out of Brazil, I would have been less worried. If this came out of America, I would have been less worried. If this came out of Timbuktu in Africa, I would be less worried. But because it came out of China, what's the number one thing that China exports?
Medicine.
Lies.
Yeah, and lies.
Lies. Mentiras. Mentiroso. Liars.
Mentiroso.
The number one thing China exports is lies. And I knew when I started seeing them close the borders off in Wuhan and putting these big blocks of stone blocking the exits on the highway, I knew this was something that was serious, and they were shooting to kill people running out of the province.
Yeah, there you go, right?
And I knew this was serious. This was not a game. But you know Canada and Australia and New Zealand? They believe the model that China was giving the rest of the world, that we have this under control. And then the World Health Organization took 1 million years to actually say that this was serious and it's a pandemic. Now, I know it's serious. I know this is serious. I know it's heavily contagious. And I know this is a bigger problem than what they're masking it out to be. I think we don't even know how big of a problem this is until maybe 1 or 2 years from now.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right. I'm not, and we're hoping that it passes us so that we can talk about it. But what I really worry about is, like you said, the WHO. They said it wasn't contagious back in I think it was back in November.
China.
They made a statement that it wasn't contagious. All of a sudden now you come out now and say it's contagious. So
It's like,
I'm really so happy that Trump dumped them. So he's not sending any more money there. So you're not going to have Bill Gates pretending that he's going to care about people and putting out a vaccine, which is a bunch of crock. So then my question is to you. You remember my video I did 2 years ago when I was talking about the Sherman's death? Benny and what was her name? The husband and wife, the billionaire, the Jewish billionaire in Toronto.
okay.
That
Yeah, I remember
first-
that. That was a while ago.
Okay. So apparently they were the ones that started the drug to kill the virus, corona. People can
That's
look
right,
at it.
and they stopped the funding.
That's right. So this is bigger than what people see. It's what we're doing. Now, as we say, Mike, they push things up. They get it up on the media. They get us all feared, and they do things behind our back. So I'm going to explain to everybody what happened to Ontario now. And I hope it doesn't happen to BC, Mike. You got to be on it. Because what happened in Ontario was back in December of 2019, they actually passed a law that we cannot sue the government of Ontario. Did you know that? We cannot sue the provincial government of Ontario
For damages?
for anything. They passed it in court.
But it doesn't make any sense. What if what if like OPP, Ontario Provincial Police, who are you going to sue? Because that's part of the provincial government. Like if they screw you over.
You got to. What I'm talking about is, let's say, like for instance, Rob Ford is shutting down the whole province. Okay.
Right.
Now, if he shuts it down where this virus is, contained and whatever, and it's under control, and somebody wants to sue them, they can't. Or even if you're going outside and you go to a neighbor and somebody snitches on you, which kills me, and then the police come and give you a fine, you're going to get that off thrown out in court. I'm going to tell everybody right now, because that's a constitution right. You're not going to be able to enforce that law, but they're trying to enforce that law. The OPP is trying to put something out there in the paper now today. I read it that they don't want people going out for a joyride, like
Cruising.
Yeah. Like, are you kidding me? What do you want us to do? Stay home and look through our computers all day? You're going to, you go mental. Well, I'm not saying for everybody to go out at the same time. Once in a while, you want to go for a drive, go to the gas station just to kill some time, right? But what I'm getting off track now. So what I'm getting back is that law is passed in Ontario, and every other province is going to start kicking into that. So I want you to pay attention in BC.
I will. I'll keep my finger on the pulse on that,
You guys can
Mario.
look it up in December. You can look it up in December. They did it. Now, what I'm getting at is they push all this agenda, and who knows what our government's doing. And if you see what they did with the masks, I just found out yesterday that a PC federal, you can say, candidate, or I think he's out in Caledon. I've been watching his videos. He's really good, Mike. I'm going to give you his name when I get out. It's Pierre something. I can't remember his last name right now. Anyway, he called Bill Marlow. Put it on he's got his own YouTube channel. Put Bill Marlow on there and asked him the question. So did you get rid of 2 million masks and threw them out? And he wouldn't answer. And then he asked them again. He says, what did you do with the whatever? Did you charge why are you charging HST when we need it for especially our frontline workers and the elderly? And he couldn't even answer, man.
He could have at least shipped them to Italy or something.
Well, not even that. They were shipping it to China to make exchanges with the prisoner. Meanwhile, you got Canadians that need them. You got elderlies. You got old age homes. You got frontline workers, doctors. They need it more than anybody. And this is what's happening. We're losing our definition of helping our own our own breed. So what they're doing is they're just floating it, and it's just like we've been talking about. And then I'm reading the other day, I found out when we were doing videos going back and forth with Home Capital that should have collapsed, that CIBC is behind Home Capital from day one.
They have to.
Yeah, and guess who owns CIBC? Take a guess who owns it. It's a communist Chinese. That's who owns it.
Yes. It's okay. It's actually a corporate number that ties back to origins from Shanghai.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you're putting all this together. You're putting the Sherman's death together.
China.
And people got to understand, yeah, it's from China. But here's the question I want to ask you and all the listeners out there. Was it done on purpose?
Yeah, it could be. It couldn't be. But you know what? To tell you the truth, I think the Chinese were just playing around with something they couldn't handle, and it ended up screwing and backfiring, shutting down their economy. And then they try to keep it quiet by telling people there was nothing wrong. And before you know it, the Lunar New Year comes around. Everybody that's got cash runs off to the colonies, right, to the Commonwealth. They run all over Australia and New Zealand while they could get out. 2 weeks after that, boom, they shut the province of Wuhan down.
It's unbelievable. It's
So
unbelievable.
it's here.
Yeah. And let me, and then I did a video the other day, Mike. I don't know if you watched it. In Canada itself, they're putting out the numbers. Okay, we don't know what is true. I don't want people to panic, because let me ask you the next question. So what? Suicide rates dropped 90, 100% over a year.
Mm-hmm.
Did heart attacks drop 100%? So who's ever dying, and they even said it on the news, they don't have enough equipment. You heard it. We don't have enough equipment to test all these people, the proper equipment. All of a sudden, the 2,000-3,000 that died a week before this epidemic was starting to kick in, they're listed as coronavirus victims. So my question is,
hold on. Now I got a question for you.
Yeah.
A lot of first responders in Canada have been complaining that they've went to go see people who have died, who have been told to go in quarantine at home. Then family members would call and say, so-and-so has died at home. First responders go in, realize they died of coronavirus symptoms, but they're not recording it as a coronavirus death because they were never tested while they were alive.
Okay, I'm not debating that, Mike.
No, I'm saying, but there's so much going on from the whole country. We don't even know what to believe. You got Quebec. The only transparent province in Canada is Quebec.
Yes.
They're the only ones that are testing everybody. They're the only ones that are really, really taking this seriously. Is Quebec.
And I like the premier there because he stepped up to the plate. We all know these old age homes are cancer to them. And the thing is, what I want to say is, I wish my mother was still alive today. My father's still here. God bless. He's got dementia, not at a high level of it, but I got 2 sisters and a brother out there that help out. And the thing is, if you guys have parents, why aren't you bringing them in your own house? This is like especially in the Asian community, they cherish the elderly. And that's one thing I wish we would adapt. And I'm not talking just about myself. I'm talking about general. Get rid of these old age homes. We wouldn't have this epidemic in the old age homes. The problem is they're not fed properly. They're not in good health.
A lot of abuse too.
Yeah. So their immune systems are weak, number one. Number two, some of them already had the flu or influenza, whatever you want to call it, that's already destroyed 20% of their immune system. So something like this comes.
China.
They don't have a chance. And
Hold on, Mario.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. Remember we brought this up on the show? We got the article up. We talked about this about 2 years ago. Who owns a majority of the old folks' home in China, in Canada?
Chinese, man.
The communist Chinese own a majority, like 89%.
We already talked about. Yeah.
89% of Canadian old age homes are owned by communist Chinese.
That's right.
Like the actual government owns Canadian old age homes. Now everyone's getting wiped in these homes. Why?
I don't know. We know what's going on. Quebec was just, there was one place 31, 32 died, and that's terrible. Like, one's already too many, but when you're getting 32 at one shot, I don't know what to answer to that. I don't have an answer to that. But it's, this is, again, it's not something I wished for or aiming for it, but it's an interesting time, Mike. We're living where we start to cook more. We're doing more food. We're getting bonded as a family. Maybe maybe this is a blessing in a way too. You got to take the bad and the good and try to make it better for everybody to understand what's happening.
Right.
I'm gonna start doing my garden. You just said it. I got to do mine. I mean, here I got to wait till the long weekend in May, but I've been turning over my dirt, making my garden a little bit bigger. I might even build something for the winter to see how I gonna do it. Because I'm telling you, people, if you don't start growing your own vegetables, you're gonna be lost. I mean,
Yeah.
you go to the stores. There's lineups. Guys are wearing masks like there's a bomb going off. I understand. I'm just saying, you're going to be waiting at the stores, and I think this is going to last quite a bit. I don't think this is going to just go back to work and everything's normal. I don't think we're going to get a normal probably till around September, October.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Do you think Trump is doing the right thing by easing restrictions, or is it too early still?
I think what's happening is, Mike, I think he's going to take the precautions as we would, and I wish we'd do the same, because I don't think it's going to be as bad as if people are home or people are out. You can't go to concerts, you can't go to big functions. You got to keep that in place.
What about WrestleMania?
No, you
I'm
can't
joking.
you can't go to those things.
Okay.
I think he knows more than what we do. I think he's got what it's called the drug. I can't even pronounce that drug. And Dr. Oz was on Fox News. I don't know if you've seen it. And he's explaining in France, 98% are recovering from this drug. So it's not a vaccine. People can understand.
It's used for malaria and some cancers, right? Cancers and some malaria infections.
And AIDS.
Yeah.
Apparently it does AIDS, and it's done doing this one. So it actually only works on people that get it. You cannot take it, so it doesn't prevent you from getting it.
Yeah.
It only works if you get it. So that's what medicine's for. If you look at the definition of medicine's for to cure you, not to resist getting something, because that's punishment to your body. I don't care what anybody tells me. That's my theory.
Right.
So, if you're going to give me a vaccine, you can't even vaccine of simple flu, and you want to give me a vaccine that this is going to work?
Yeah.
And did you know the Americans have something written in the 1930s that no one can have the cure of cancer or you'd be jailed?
Really?
Yeah. I'm gonna send you that article. It was
send me the article. I want to see this.
Yeah, in 1930s. And all the doctors that had been doing the research on cancer and finding something, they happened to be dead.
Disappear, or they commit suicide with 2 bullet holes in their back.
That's right. So and I know it. That's where it comes from. But at the same time, now, are they going to cure us from this thing? I don't really think so. Because if you're going to let the leftists do it, they don't care about us, Mike. They hate us. They hate the president of the United States, and they hate us. So people got to start waking up. Take your vitamins. Watch what you do. Wear your masks. I'm not saying don't think I'm out there saying don't. But the thing is, if you're going to wear a mask and you're going to go shopping, it's not going to prevent you from getting it, Mike. You're going to get it. You're going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line.
Yeah.
Okay? And you just got to be, vigilant. You got to wash your hands. You got to make sure you're doing what you can. And like I said, you got to take your vitamins and just stay home. Stay home until I think it's lifted on the 14th, if I recall, or the 11th of May.
Probably. I don't even know what's happening here. I don't even watch our news here. It's so loaded. It's so loaded where you could tell, like, every channel saying every Canadian news network saying the exact same thing. It's all loaded. All their lips are loaded.
They are. And it's just too bad. It's too bad. And you know what? I don't like our PM. I really don't. I've got to a point where when he's on, I just shut off the TV.
I'm not even a fan. I'm not a fan of our government at all.
No.
I love Canada. Canada was on the right path, and then, man, the last 8-9 years since the 2010 Olympics in Vancouver, everything's been going to hell in a handbasket, like fast, like a runaway train. It's been going fast.
How much you paying for gas there, a liter today?
I don't know, like 68 cents or 65 cents.
We're paying 83 today. I don't understand why.
Oh no, because the carbon tax, right?
Yeah, of course. He would see. He wouldn't take that off, and then we're making a lousy $2,000 a month to live off of.
Yeah, you're
So
going to burn through that $2,000 with the carbon tax in 3 months.
yeah, and especially me, my wife that's 4,000. You probably pay car insurance, property tax, mortgage. By the time you're done, you're lucky if you're left with anything. But that's our government. That's our government because and here, Mike. Let me ask you this: 73 billion. Am I correct? He got for the. Where's all that money going? Where's that money going? We have 33 million people in Canada. So it's not like the States, not like any other country. Because if you do the math, if we give us $1 million each, how much would it be? 33 million. 330 million? Am I doing the right math?
Yeah, it would be $1 million per person. Though it'd be a lot more than that.
Okay.
It'd be
So
a lot more.
73 billion, and then he wouldn't even help the small businesses that were under 20. He just changed that now because he had the heat on him. But he wouldn't change the ones that are small business.
This government thinks that small businesses are crooks. You know that. He said that.
Yes.
That we're criminals and we're not paying our fair share and this and that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But, and it's sad. It's sad. It's sad. And I feel, I hope my kids get a great job, man. I really do. I really do.
Yeah.
Because and now coming out of this, Mike, you can't tell me the housing market's going to survive this. You cannot tell me.
There's a few things in the works. There's a few things in the works for them to actually keep it going. One, they're going to start advertising heavy to get in more money because I have a friend who lives in a part of Shanghai where there's this huge billboard advertising that the Canadian government bought to advertise to move to Canada.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
Oh, yeah, they're opening more offices, too, so they could fast-track people to give them citizenship to move to Canada fast, too.
Unbelievable.
So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. Give it time, we'll see. So, like I said, the majority of our old age homes are owned by the Chinese Communist Party owns it. The majority, they're looking to buy they bought Whistler, they bought Grouse Mountain, where we go skiing, like in Vancouver, like in BC, the beautiful mountain where we go skiing. They bought Grouse Mountain Ski Resort. They bought all this stuff. They bought They bought the Bentall Center. They bought those big towers in Vancouver. That's why they couldn't close flights from China when this thing was at its peak. They couldn't close flights from China because it's like closing flights to your own country.
Yeah. And why do you think they put that law in that you can't sue the provincial government? I'm gonna explain to you why. It's not because of this virus.
Why?
It's because they made deals with communist Chinese. If you look at a treaty, you look at any security under our Canadian law, you are not allowed to negotiate with any communist party. Right. So these guys got in bed politicians got in bed with the Communist Party, and they're called the Chinese Business Plan, whatever they want to call it, and they embezzled money to them so they can buy up, like you said, real estate, markets, everything.
Give it 5 years, Mario. I hope you're sitting down for this. Give it 5 years, and the Chinese will own probably one of our major telecoms and one of our major gas or natural gas companies or electrical company in Canada. Give it 5 years. I bet you. I could bet you a beer.
I told you when I did that video about the Sherman death, I was talking about Akon.
Yeah.
Akon almost got bought out by Chinese.
Interesting.
And they stopped the deal. You know why they stopped the deal, Mike?
Tell me.
I put in an application at the courts.
Really?
Yes, I did.
Well, good for you.
Because when I seen that was happening, they have to advertise it. And what they do is they put something else on the front of the page. They did advertise it, but it was way back. So when somebody gave me a heads up, I started looking into it. I put my application in the courts under the BNA Act of our government in the British colony. They cannot sell that company without permission.
I love
So somebody has to give permission. And for them to give permission, they have to actually illustrate their name. And they wouldn't do that. So they stopped the sale. They stopped the sale.
Well, good for
So
you.
yeah, and the thing is, I'm so upset because that other law they passed in December, I should have stopped it, because that shows that the government is not taking blame on anything they do. So all the deals that you have with the LCBO, and you know what? I understand LCBO, but it's nice to have it at a liquor store. I'm against the ones at the convenience store. That's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather you pay somebody a little bit more money so they make a wage.
Mm-hmm.
You put it at a convenience store, I think what you're going to do is you're going to eliminate the guy making the good wage, and you're going to give some. And like I said, who owns all the convenience stores? I'm not going to say it out loud, but this is where it's got to stop. This has got to stop in a 180-degree turn, because if you do not stop this down the road, your wages aren't going to go up. It's going to get less, and you got to spend more money that you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem we're having today in this country. We're not sticking up for the people that has. Now, this is, like I said, I'm not saying it's a great thing, but it's also a good thing it happened, because we're realizing the frontline workers are underpaid. We always knew that. But now the government's going to realize, wait a minute, I can't cut these costs. I can't cut these costs on Medicare. I can't cut these costs on nurses. Like, nurses are so underpaid, it's not funny. And I give my hats out to them.
Well,
because
a lot of them moved to the States.
yeah, I don't blame them. I remember you did one. She moved to Florida. I remember she's making twice the money, and she's making a great living. Good for her.
Yeah, and she ended up she took the rent subsidy that they were going to give her free rent, $1,000 US a month. So she took the $12,000 instead and put it towards a mortgage.
Yeah, yeah. And the only reason why they're having those protests in the States is because you got to understand, it's not like Canada. That Democrat leader in Michigan, if you see what she was telling people they can only buy and do, that's when they started standing up. If you just tell people, listen, we're going to shut down everything like we did in Canada. We're going to shut it down. Stay home, stay safe. You can still go buy whatever you need to buy, which is okay. You know, I'm doing my part. I'm not going to say I'm going to be a protester or anything like that. But once you start indicating all those items, people get upset. You know, I'm going to the store now. I'm limited to what I'm buying. You know, they can't even buy seeds to grow plants. Did you know that?
Really? I could buy them here. They have them for sale here.
You know, they have them here, I hear too. But there, they blocked it all off. They blocked. Somebody sent it to me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they can't buy seeds or something, or they're blocking heirloom seeds or something.
Yeah, so they can't even grow their own vegetables and fruit, whatever, right? And that's, to me, that's an indication of something else. So it's going to be interesting, and let's hope we get through this and we move on and we can get back to work and get to everyday life.
Okay, Mario, I'm gonna let you go, and I want you to put a link to your channel in the comments here, the live comments, because people are asking if you have a channel.
Yes.
So can you please? It's the Lost Canuck, right?
Yeah, it's the Lost Canuck. I did it like that, and it's you know, and I know I have two channels. I have that one, and I have the 13th Disciple.
The 13th Disciple, yeah.
Yeah, because in case one gets shut down, Mike, I got a backup.
Let me find it here. I have it here. The Lost. Where are you? There's so many. I got unsubscribed against the channels. I'm noticing this, eh? You know how I know, Mario? Because I'm usually subscribed to about 200 channels, and then now I have like 93 channels I'm subscribed to.
Buddy, I described you 3 times last month. First time I got on there, then the second time I'm looking at you and I can't find you.
Yeah.
Then I had to go on Google you and subscribe to you.
Look, I even have you on my search, The Lost Canuck.
Yeah.
Here it is, Mike Martin's in The Lost Canuck. There you are in my house.
Yeah, that's when I was about 30 pounds heavy.
Let me see. Okay, that's on my channel. Let me see if wait, did I put I think I put a link to your channel here. Give me a sec here. I think I put a link to your channel.
YouTubers,
here it
Mike
is.
Martin's here, Mike Martin's channel.
Got shut down.
Oh, this channel doesn't exist.
Yeah, I got shut down. So I had to start another one.
Oh. Okay. So I don't know why you're not coming
YouTubers,
up.
Mike
Mike in the Night with the Lost Canuck.
How are you spelling Canuck? C-U-N-N-U-K.
C-A-N-N-U-K?
C-U.
That's why.
C-U-N-N-U-K. And then you can put my name in front of it. Maybe that'll help.
Nothing. Let me see, Mario.
See how they do it, man? It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Nothing.
I'll send it to you, Mike. Don't worry about it.
Unless we put your social insurance, your blood type, and we put in your height and your date of birth, it might come up.
Yeah.
Okay, do me a favor, throw it in the comments there, please.
I will, buddy. Take care, man.
God bless you. Okay.
Ciao, buddy.
Ciao.
Ciao.
That is my man, the Lost Canuck. Always got my back. Always got my back. The Lost. He still has the same Skype. Man, I can't believe like I know I have him here. I saw his video the other day. He sent me a video on Instagram. I have the Uneducated Economist right here. Boom, bubble, bust, repeat is here. Cobra Kai. I'm not finding anything tonight, guys. I'm just so... Anyways. That is Mario the Lost Canuck. Hopefully he can put a link in the comments for people to subscribe to his channel. All right, let's get back to the comments. We got Bert718. Thank you for coming on. Thanks for finding me that video from 3 years ago. Somebody sent it to me and told me that it was a new video. Metal Gear Mark III in the house. Elizabeth in the house. Big Rob New Zealand in the house. This is the Lost Canuck YouTube site. This is somebody else. Axel Rose. Nat Pashuk. Mario needs tons of vitamin C. Fake Kevin Thompson says he's lost. Someone's asked me to call a Shima. Then we got Lord Humongous. Yeah, so you see the you start connecting the dots. When Canada passed that law or tried to pass that law, I don't even know if Canada passed that law where police are allowed to come into your house while you're sleeping or with friends in your house while watching a hockey game, and they're allowed to breathalyze test you in your house. Yeah. So we got What's Up 52 from Australia. We got wow, we got a lot of people in the... So, guys, don't forget to pick up your Mike in the Night swag. Lots of cool t-shirts, man. The chicks love this stuff, man. Okay, can you please, Lost Canuck, give us your channel? Yeah, we'll get him. I'll even get him another video on another video. I have his Skype here, too. All right. So we got Lord Humongous wants to get me on another YouTuber to come on, a health and wellness survival guy. I would love to have him on the show, but that guy's got like 1 million subscribers. I don't think he would want to come here, or you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I don't think. You know what I mean? I'm just like high-end channels. Oh, we got Dave Sabrini sending me $5.49. Love the Mike of the Night. You got a fun show, man. Thanks, Dave. You're the best, buddy. We got Kia Hagdaust saying Uncle Trudeau in the house. Yeah, Uncle Trudeau giving out free money. There's a fly in here. There's fly buzzing. I have the window open, that's why. Okay, we got Blunt News calling. Woo! I know who Blunt News is. Yo, what's shaking, man?
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Good, how are you, my brother?
Good. I just want to talk about essential workers BS.
Go ahead, tell us what's on your mind.
Well, what's an essential worker? I mean, I keep seeing street sweepers pass my road. Why is there rec center workers still working when the freaking rec center's closed?
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, we're getting, an Oakville father. I don't know if you heard this one a few maybe it was this week or last week, got a fine of what, $700-800 for rollerblading in an empty rec center parking lot with his kids.
I saw that. Someone sent me that link. Yeah,
I mean, and who's deciding what's essential? Because a single mother who's a hairdresser, to her job is very essential. You get what I'm saying?
Well, because she has to feed a family, right? So
exactly. So does it get more essential than that?
Well, you're right.
And so we're gonna keep all these people at home starving, shut down the whole world. And where's the proof, Mike? I don't see proof. All I see is contaminated tests here. And then we got our leader, our fearless leader, telling us that he's got to listen to the medical professionals. And who's that? Is that the Dr. Tam, who's also like the oversight committee at the World Health Organization? How many people know that?
Yeah, that guy's Mickey Mouse. But let me...
Okay, go ahead.
Let me tell you something. My concern about this, again... hold on, bud. Hold on. Just stick around. We got our kilobytes. Our bandwidth is going down like nobody's business right now. Just stick around for a bit. It looks. Everybody, refresh your screens. We're losing connection badly. I get people now messaging me on my cell phone that I'm frozen. Guys, go ahead and refresh this. Every time I get so many people watching, because what's happening, Blunt News, recently is I got a message from YouTube that they're going to be allocating resources to more important channels.
Yeah.
So there's more important channels like people pouring gravy down their pants that people need to watch.
Yeah, or how to put on makeup, right?
Yeah. Or
how to teach your kid how to be progressive, or the CBC's the Twitter post, I'm sure you saw it, how to instruct children how to turn down their parents' conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
It's getting out of hand, right? You touched on it the other day. Our news is government funded.
Well, yeah, because our taxpayers bailed them out just before the election because they were going under. So we own it's a public funded, just like state-run media, just like Russia Today, just like Press TV from Iran. It's all state-run.
Yeah, that's fine. That all those other countries have it, but it's not fine that Canada has it, right? This is not the way that Canada was, and all of a sudden it's turning out to be this dystopian nightmare. Why is our news have to go through the government to get to us? That's insane. And now you got the that CBC article I sent you, I think, on Instagram about how they want to come after misinformation or on COVID online. Mm-hmm. Like they're the arbiters of truth. They don't know anything, Mike.
Yeah, they
were telling us that masks are no good, and now masks are okay.
Let me tell you. Let's see if this thing refreshes here, because I'm having a huge issue here getting this stream up and running smooth. I'm not, like I said, YouTube needs to allocate their resources to real channels.
Yeah, real channels, real bullshit, Mike.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
I'm just trying to see if I could get this back up and streaming, because I want your message to be heard. Loud and clear. I don't want any obstructions here from what you're trying to tell me here. All right, let's see if we get this thing up. Come on.
Do you want me to hang up and call back?
No, it's not you, buddy. It's not even you. It's the actual. It's the YouTube. It's the YouTube allocation bandwidth. It's not you. It's not me. It's not my internet. It's the whole YouTube.
No,
allocation.
It's because maybe the algorithm heard a few words that it didn't like, right, Mike?
Probably that happens because it auto flags it, right? Okay, let me tell you why this is a really big deal, okay? Because we don't even know what we're dealing with. We really don't know. Okay? 2, we've been following China's models from day one. Canada, China, and Australia, and New Zealand, and half of the United Kingdom, and Western United States, from Washington State all the way to San Diego, that's China. That's all China.
Okay, Mike. The USA's main forecasting model that they use, that the White House actually uses, just revised their peak predictions to 60,000 deaths at the end of August. Mm-hmm. You know, that's a big revision from, what was it, 200,000?
Mm-hmm.
So now they're even telling us that it's not even as bad as what they once said, and we keep looking up to these people like they have some kind of authority when everything they tell us has been wrong. It continues to be wrong, right? So should I take Miss Tam's advice, who happens to work at, be one of the committee members of the World Health Organization?
No.
There's only 7 of them, so she's got to be important, Mike. And at the same time, she's the lead of medical in Canada.
Do you remember?
Isn't there a conflict there?
There's a huge conflict because there's a lot of internal crap that's going on that we will never know about, right?
Well, of course. And who's the president of that whole thing? The Tedros.
That Mickey Mouse guy, yeah.
Well, how many people know that he's a member of a communist party in Ethiopia?
Not a lot of people, and a lot of people don't even know that he doesn't even have a proper license to practice medicine.
He's not even a doctor. He's not even a doctor.
No.
Okay, and he tried to cover up the cholera outbreak in Ethiopia.
Cholera, yeah.
The cholera outbreak in Ethiopia a few times, right? During his reign there.
What did I say?
There's research papers about ethnic cleansing that was going on in Ethiopia at that time, right? I can post the links to everything I'm saying. If you just have to ask for them, Mike.
Yeah, no problem. Let me say something. Remember the last week of December when we started talking about this on the channel, and I said when I opened that whole WHO thing for the first time, and I saw that guy's face, I said, "This is the fall guy for the WHO." I have this strong feeling after hearing him talk for the first time, saying that China there's something, but it's nothing to worry about, nothing to be alarmed about. There's nothing going on. I knew something was going on. I knew something was serious, and I knew something was going to get out. And when it did, it was going to be all hell to pay. But you know what? The tables are turning now. People are starting to now point the finger at China, and there's just this big back and forth war. Now, let's take 2 steps back. Okay, now. They're starting to see that Hillary Clinton, and the Obama administration with Hillary Clinton actually sent funding or money to research the coronavirus in China.
Oh, Mike, didn't Canada send 800 and some odd million to Wuhan lab after the pandemic had already started? I mean, this is just a big show for the people. Every day, the prostitutes turn on at 11 a.m. Eastern time to tell us what to believe. Meanwhile, if you just dig a little bit, you can see this is a big joke, a push for power, a way to grab. We know they want to get rid of cash. Easy. Coronavirus. We know they want a global medical database. Easy. Coronavirus. We know they want to restrict travel. Coronavirus. Yep. We know they want everyone on UBI, coronavirus.
You forgot
Everything
vaccines.
Is here. The vaccines too. First they got to get us on UBI independent, and then when we don't have a job, what's going to happen, Mike?
Well,
take the vaccine.
You're no longer productive,
or else you don't get UBI.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This is all stuff that people have talked about, like myself, for years and years, but. And now it's coming to fruition, but still the progressives and leftists, the WHO said this, and
those guys are a bunch of garbage. The WHO, all those guys, I knew those guys from day one. They did not know if they were tricking or treating. I know, a lot of scientists have said this is a man-made. This is weaponized. This is that. This is this. The guy who discovered AIDS back in the late 70s, who discovered the AIDS virus. Said this is definitely genetic. It's a genetic model behind this, and the makeup of it is definitely got proteins from HIV and other proteins, and it's been spliced and diced in a lab. I think China.
Sorry, I have to. I said 800 and some odd million. It was 800 and something thousand. Before that, Canada sent to the Wuhan lab.
Yeah,
it wasn't in the millions. It was in the thousands, but still. $828,000 sent to Wuhan after the pandemic had started. Trudeau knew about this pandemic in January.
Yeah, he did.
And he did nothing about it. And
they were handing out flyers at the airport. Remember?
Not in January, Mike.
No. When did the flyer start?
Well, that was March, in the middle of March.
Oh, they started doing the flyers, right? Flyers are gonna save lives. You know that, right?
Well, you know what's going to save lives is keeping it quiet for all those months, right?
Yeah.
The least the government could have done was given us the right information to begin with, not hocus pocus lies, right? Given us the right information and let us decide for ourselves how to deal with the risks, because a responsible person is going to take the precautions. They're going to keep their mom away from the grocery store. But instead, they have an arbitrary blanket shutdown of everything, and they feed us with misinformation the whole time. So, given our what we've seen, the complete incompetence of government, do you believe that now they're trying to help Canadians and lower this curve that they keep talking about?
Blunt.
It's BS, Mike.
Blunt. If they wanted to help Canadians, they would have, if they honestly, wholeheartedly cared about us, the first thing they would have done was they would have stopped the money laundering in its tracks in 2010. They would have stopped the money laundering. We wouldn't have sold out our country to the highest bidders, and we would be living in a decent, more affordable economy. We would be living we would be less affected by this COVID because there would be less influence of communist money here. There's $200 billion laundered in Canada from 2010 to 2014. $200 billion. And it's broken down per province. We're screwed. Our governments have sold us out completely. Okay? If they cared about us, they would have started way back when the average house was tied to the average wage, so the average wage earner, not minimum wage, average wage earner could get into a house, lay roots, start a family, get married, then get divorced, give his wife the house, and then so goes on the party. But they stopped that. We sold out.
Of course, they wanted that foreign money, Mike.
Of course, but it wasn't just Canada, okay? It was Australia was promoting, move to Australia, great place, lots of freedom, and they were promoting the whole freedom thing, the Australia freedom thing in China, in Shanghai, and everywhere. And Canada, Australia, even New Zealand, believe it or not, and parts of the UK were actually using taxpayers' dollars to open more immigration offices in major cities in China to fast track more money to come in their countries, to sell us out even faster.
Yeah, it's the same United Nations agenda going ahead. They got to bring down the first world nations. They got to prop up the third world nations. Once they have this all equal, that's when they can control us nice and easy. The UBI is the main thing. I think they're gonna get the whole world on UBI, get us all dependent, and then the rules will come. Do this and that, and you'll still get your check.
Guys listening, this UBI is universal basic income, in case you're not sure. Anyways, so Blunt,
Yeah.
I was having a conversation the other day with Supreme Cannon. He came on the show. We had we were doing about a discussion about the elites, right?
Yeah.
So let's say me and you, we got together. We want to start a grassroots movement in Canada. We want to get the right people on board. We really want to support the working middle class, working class. Bring back our slogan would be bring back the working class, the middle class. That's our goal in Canada. Let's say that's our slogan. We get support, we get donations, we start growing. But then it goes to where we start getting threatened and our lives get taken from us for doing the right thing. So even if we do have the right movement, the right potential, the right people, the right money, the right forecast, the right projections, who's to say that we'll be taken out? Just like everybody else, like Ross Perot. We brought up Ross Perot. He was going to winning in the polls. He was there for the Americans. He was going to be one of the best, next to Kennedy, better leaders. And he was threatened by the opposition, blatantly threatened him that they were going to kill him and his family. And he dropped out of the race, and he was winning. So
yeah. I just think everybody's looking for the wrong savior, and nobody's looking at the central bank. That's another thing. This economy was set to collapse any day now.
Yeah,
and
the
fingers would have been pointed at the central banks, and now nobody's talking about the central banks. They have freedom to print and print and print, and we know what happens at the end of Keynesian system: helicopter money. And here it is: $2,000 in Canada, $1,200 in the States, $2,000 in Spain, and so on and so on. Everybody's going to be on this funny money. and they're going to be dependent on it, and that's when the clamp is going to come down hard.
So let me ask you, what's the end game?
The end game is control. They don't want us consuming.
Okay. So let's take a step back, Blunt. They know what time I wake up on average by tracking my cell phone. They know what time I take a shower. They know what time I go to bed. They know what I'm picking up at the grocery store. They even know which porn sites I visit. But then in the end, what the hell is the point to know that? For what?
Well, see, that's just the thing. They know all this. They've gone this far, and still men are worried about the Super Bowl. You know, still they're worried about an extra 5 horsepower in their Mustang. You know what I mean, Mike? This is not the way men are supposed to be. We're supposed to be defensive of our families, and we're supposed to pay attention to what's going on. Okay? And men are not paying attention, and this is by design. This has been the way it's been going for a lot of years. I don't even want to go left, right. Oh, the conservative was better, or the liberal was better. That's all bullshit, a show for the people, and it means
smoke and
nothing.
Mirrors.
That's right.
So Wizard of Oz. Remember when they got to the end? The Wizard of Oz.
Our sovereign debt system ended in 1974. After that, it's IMF, World Bank, etc. Right?
Deregulation, mass banking deregulations, and yeah, you're right. We used to have laws in place to protect the average Joe that didn't go on a regular basis to check certain things in the economy, because there was a lot of regulations put in place to protect those people. Now, they don't even know what the rates are. They don't even know that the banks are taking money out of their accounts. They don't even know what's going on because
there's no financial education.
Yeah.
None. There's no financial education at all. And if there was, it wouldn't be education. It'd be indoctrination into the Keynesian system.
That's right.
That's for sure. Right? If we were educated on money, if everybody was, they'd be, buying a little silver every month, buying a little gold, putting some away for some farmland, maybe dipping into the cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. People would be more educated. But even if they woke up today, Mike, go on the Kitco website. You can't even buy an ounce of gold.
Nope.
Go on Canada PMX. You'll probably have to buy 10 ounces and up.
There's some places, some people are paying anywhere from $50 to several $100s over spot for gold.
Mike, I paid $10 over spot yesterday for silver. That's $30 an ounce, $32 an ounce.
Yeah.
And that's if you can find some.
Yeah, I believe you. But the thing is, that's why we have this channel, so we can come on here, discuss our points of views, kind of stretch our legs out a bit, kind of educate others, kind of wake up we're not going to wake up the masses, but we want to. I want you to know, Blunt, that there's people there out here in Canada that do know. There's people out here that do care, right? And there's people out here that want to see Canada like it was in 1984 or 81, 82. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know, but it's not gonna come. The power they have over the people is so much at this point that it's scary, man.
Well, the power over the people is the indebtedness the people are in.
Not even the indoctrination as well. Of course, the indebtedness. That's main in front.
Invisible handcuffs.
Man, the indoctrination. Even today, with all this that's going on, you still have people say, "Oh no, Trudeau said, it's going to be, such and such amount of time." How many times did he say it'll be a month or two? And now it's indefinite until we get a vaccine.
I stopped listening to that guy in the beginning of January. I saw him.
No, I know what you're saying, because
at a
I
cottage,
can't listen
and
for
I'm
more
like,
than 10
okay,
minutes
you know
now.
what? I'm gonna tune in to like news from India, or I'm gonna tune in to news from Taiwan. I'm not gonna listen to what they're talking about here, because it's always a different agenda here than what's realistically happening. That's why I knew this was somewhat of a big deal at the beginning, because when China said, "Oh, we got this under control, there's nothing to worry about," I knew right then and there we were dealing with death. I knew there was something major going on. And with 22 million cell phone subscribers disappearing from a federally paid communist paid phones, I don't think so. Something happened. Something's happening, and I think it's all going to it's all going to float to the top in time.
Yeah. Mike, I think you got to start looking into BitChute and DLive and some other platforms, because it's just a matter of time. Your channel isn't big enough for them yet, but it's getting there, and as soon as it gets there, they'll kill it, Mike. They're gonna put your work into the trash. So it's and that's for everyone. We got to start moving over to platforms that aren't so censored and allow us to speak our minds, because this is getting ridiculous with YouTube, where we can't even say the word. We got to say cerveja bug or Covey, because this freaking algorithms, right?
Are you Portuguese?
Yes, sir.
Oh. I knew there was something about you. I'm like, I know this guy. It's like, there's something about this guy. I don't know what it is. And then it's the link, the brotherhood, the genetics in our blood. We're related if you go back far enough.
For sure, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike, I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you take care, Blunt. You take care, and you message me anytime if you ever want to talk, okay?
Peace.
God bless you. That is my man, Blunt. I knew he was Portuguese. Yep. Anyways, that was a really good caller. Really good caller. But I want people to understand that this is like a real deal, because it originated in China and China said it was good. That's all you need to know, that this is a problem. When China says we got this under control, we got this, nobody panic, you know it's a problem. When they say, when the World Health Organization takes a step forward and says, oh guys, this is good, we got this under control, we got a problem. Because they don't need to come on and tell us that everything's under control. You don't need to tell us if everything's under control, if it's under control.
China. I love China. I love China.
So guys, listen to me. I'm very, very disappointed. Not disappointed, just very, just this really discontent towards the CCP. This huge discontent. I've growing up, when I was, child growing up, the whole, whoa, Rand Ross sent me $20. Rand Ross just sent me $20, SA in Super Chat. 10,000 troops were sent to Washington, D.C. to secure the Capitol. Saw it on Newsweek. Okay, let me look this up. This is actually a big deal. If they're calling in the reserves or the National Guard troops, but it was the National Guard, is it the Coast Guard? Who did they send in? Reserves? Let me open this up here. 10,000. That's not a lot of troops, though, to fend off 350 million Americans. Let's see what's happening here. 10,000 troops sent to Washington. Washington, District of Columbia. Okay, this is from Washington, D.C.'s spike. Washington, D.C. faces coronavirus. No. Okay, as Washington. From the Newsweek here. Exclusive. As Washington, D.C. faces coronavirus spike, secret military task force prepares to secure the Capitol. So this is from a fake news network too, eh? Newsweek. Yeah, Newsweek is fake news. So these guys obviously are, I think they have to kind of say what's going on here. District of Columbia Mayor Muriel Bowser yesterday told 1 month extension on the state emergency as cases in the region grow to a rapid pace. Federal officials in the nation's capital accept a New York-like epidemic in the district. Maryland and Virginia, one that could potentially cripple the government. So here's the deal. District of Columbia is small. Okay, it's very small. I think you could walk through the whole District of Columbia area like within minutes, a quarter of an hour or something. You could get around there real quick if you could walk fast. Now, here's the deal here. They might, and if this gets bad, because, there's so much happening in the background and everyone's been following the Chinese models and and Canada still follows what China. So, China, what's going on? Oh, you're going to up your death count? Oh, no, you're not supposed to do that. Just keep lying. Keep denying it. So, okay, here's the deal. They could move the capital. If they feel that they are in a situation, they could move they won't move the capital and change the capital name. It's not that. They're going to move the capital temporarily to continue with continuity of government, like somewhere in Arizona in some underground bunker, until they could get this thing straightened out. I don't know how they could keep continuity of government. That's the thing. If this thing starts to really get out of control. Now, let me tell you when I think this will get really out of control. When the hospitals start to break down, and when the hospitals start to reach their peak, and they just can't, the hospitals have to close their doors. And it's been happening right now in Ecuador. Many hospitals have closed their doors because people are leaving bodies outside the hospital. Literally leaving bodies in Ecuador. We saw this 2 weeks ago on Mike in the Night. They're leaving bodies in Peru outside of hospitals and medical areas of some of sorts, right? So Rand Ross, thanks for the $20. Oh, we got Eduardo calling in. And when the hospitals start to reach their peak. Eduardo, lower your volume.
How's it? Oh, sorry.
As much as I love to hear myself talk back.
How about now?
Oh, you look good, buddy. How you doing?
Not bad.
What are you doing awake so late?
Oh man, the phones have just ringing off the hook this week. It's getting crazy.
Okay, so what's going on? Tell us tell us what's on your mind. Go ahead.
Well, I'm quite involved with a lot of patriotic people, and a lot of them want to start rioting, and I'm pushing everyone back saying, we can't do this with violence. We can't do this with protests. We're at war, and it's an ideological war. Before I forget, a lot of people have forgotten that Trump enacted the Emergency Act in the States, right? About a month ago?
Which one was it?
About a month ago. He gave all the power to, I got it on the tip of my tongue. The FEMA camps, right?
They gave executive orders to FEMA for allowing them to set up, camps for overwhelmed hospitals, right?
Well, you better take a good close look at that because under the current rules of the American government, if they enact this Emergency Act, FEMA takes all the power for the next 6 months. So there's another 5 months before Trump actually gets back into power.
Okay.
So that's one thing. That's what's going on in the States. There is American retired generals that are listening to Canadians. I've been speaking to a few of them tonight, actually, and some of the letters we got here are getting through. Now, Clinton was at the Picton Pig Farm. You won't hear this in the news either, but they're trying to cover up all that nonsense about what happened in the pig farm, and they want that whole area remediated. The RCMP are making evidence disappear. The inquiries have been, they've gotten rid of a lot of the investigations. They've put the brakes on it. But the biggest point I want to leave the listeners with tonight, we're looking at this all wrong. I can talk to you as a person. You can talk to me as a person. Most of the people in chat, we're all people, right?
I hope so.
The parasites that are at the top, and they are parasites, they do nothing except leech off of us citizens. They're like the sheep herder. We are the sheep. Then you've got the sheepdog, which is the police and the politicians that are nipping at our heels, taxing us. And then there's the wolf on the outside of the fence. The sheep are afraid of the wolf and the sheepdog, but they trust the sheep herder. Who eats all the sheep?
The sheep herder does.
There you go. So people are looking at this all wrong, thinking, the parasites, the globalists, that they're normal people, that they think normally. No. That's not the case. A lot of people are waking up to what's going on. A lot of Americans are shortly going to realize what happened in 1880 and they lost common law.
Mm-hmm.
And went to admiralty law. That was a huge change. A lot of Americans haven't got a clue what that means.
Mm-hmm.
But that brought in admiralty law for the states, and that's where all the corruption started. That's how the banksters slowly took control of the banks.
Yep.
Presidents were shot over control of the banks.
You know what
JFK
happened?
was shot because of the banks.
You know what happened? You know what happened around that time? The late 1800s. They had to start registering land. Land registration had to come in so they could start charging people property tax.
And where do your taxes go?
They go to wars and they go to like islands and stuff with stripper poles and stuff.
That's where they end up. But what's the path of the tax? It goes to our federal tax agency.
Right.
In the States, it goes to the U.S. Reserve, which is a privately held company. It's not actually part of the American government.
Right.
It's a corporation, right?
That's right.
Then it goes to the Queen, and some goes to Rome, and then some gets back to the actual country.
Imagine how infrastructurally sound we would be today if we actually wholeheartedly put the money back into us and into infrastructure, into businesses, into everything. Holy crap.
Okay, look at this. Canadian savings bonds, you could buy them from the Bank of Canada up until 1972.
Right.
And that's when Pierre-Elliott Trudeau gave away our banks to the Rothschilds. Mm-hmm. The lovely parasites.
Can you please say that a year again?
1972, I believe it was.
Say the year again.
1972.
Do you know why I'm asking you for that year?
Why?
Because that's a specific year in the United States. In 1972, Richard Milhouse Nixon unpegged the U.S. currency off the gold standard.
Well, fiat currency, right?
That's the same year they unpegged the currency off the gold standard. And they unpegged the currency off the gold standard. It was too expensive to go to war. With a gold-backed currency. It's too expensive.
But the war we're in right now, it's not a conventional war.
It's a psychological war.
There you go. What's better than to have all these sheeple at home locked up in their cages, watching mainstream media, getting brainwashed? It's television. Television.
Mm-hmm. I don't even have cable anymore. Dragovich Thomas Lind, thank you for the $2, buddy, from Chilliwack, BC. We got a lot of people here in the comments. I've been getting really bad connection. Have you been losing my connection a bit, or refresh?
We're good on Skype right now, but I noticed earlier it circled a few times. But overall it's pretty good.
Oh, okay. Because I got an email a few months ago that YouTube will be allocating stream and important channels. So if I start pouring gravy down my pants every half hour, they'll continue with my channel on top priority.
Maybe we should start a gardening show. Mike in the night, middle of the night, planting.
Yeah. What am I planting here, SA? You know?
Yeah. Watering my plants in the middle of the night, and we'll have these political discussions. Mm-hmm. But actually, it's really important. We're in a crossroads right now. Canada's going to go one of two ways. And right now, it's not looking too good. I was at Costco today. 95% of the people had masks on. Mm-hmm. It was pretty scary, actually.
How does that make you feel, Eduardo?
Like I'm one of the only sheep that hasn't bought into all this nonsense.
The reason why I buy into this this whole sickness thing, again, it's because it originated out of China. And then when China said there's nothing to worry about, there's nothing going on here, I knew this was a big deal. I knew this was a really big deal. And I've been following, and I've been watching the news from Ecuador today, and I watched the news from Peru, and I'm watching it live. They're having so many problems with bodies and cadavers. They're just overwhelmed. They took the old folks, one of the old care home facilities that they have there for older people. They actually they turned the entire old aged home into a makeshift morgue. Because there's nowhere to put the bodies. There's just bodies there all over, littered. And the families can't come in and collect the bodies. So now I was watching in Ecuador, they were digging out they bought a quarter or half an acre of land, and they're just digging it out with cranes. And they're just going to start numbering they said, I was watching it, they're numbering each person. And then with a white like a magic marker, they write down the number on the body bag. Then they cross-reference it so they can give it to the family so they know what plot in the mass grave their families buried in, and which plot.
Psychologically, that's taking a huge toll on those people, is it not?
There's so many people, and there's people that can't get into their homes because there's dead bodies in their homes from family members, and they can't go inside their home, and there's no one coming there to take them.
Okay, so this flu may be, well, I've heard there's multiple strains of this flu also.
Yeah, there's about 3 of them right now that they know of.
Now, in Ecuador, can you buy tonic water? Can you get vitamin D? Mind you, they should be okay for vitamin D.
Yeah, because they're in the sun.
Lots of sunshine.
They're by the equator, right? I don't know, Eduardo. I don't know. I'm going to have to talk to somebody down there. I've been watching their news, the 24 hours that they have. It's not good. It really, they cannot stage this there. There's no way to stage the amount of bodies being dropped off on CCTV camera from the hospital. People dropping bodies off, and they're laying there for hours on end. And then you know what they do? They don't pick up the body. They put like yellow tape around it, okay? Like a murder scene. And then somebody else an hour later with another car drops off another body beside that body, and they take off.
Now, how good is the resolution on these videos?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not garbage. It's like 1080p.
No question, it's not a dummy.
No, it's not. It's you could tell
Absolutely not.
You could tell it's a human being. Like, they're not even in a body bag, dude. It's like they're clothed.
Because on American TV, I know we had coverage of people in hospitals on ventilators, and they were clearly dummies.
Yeah, I understand, but that's like the whole CNN angle of shit and all that. I get it. Yeah, they're gonna take over. Yes, this is great. They could take over our rights. Yes, they could. But Eduardo, if you go back to 1918, I don't know if you remember the episode I did where we were bringing up articles from the Spanish influenza. They closed everything down. They closed moving picture theaters. They didn't call them movie theaters. They're called moving picture theaters. They closed down all pool halls. They closed down all, like, everything. No more than 10 people allowed to congregate in one location. They closed all the churches down in 1918. We were reading all the articles from all over the States. We were reading them all over Canada. From Timmins, Ontario articles. We're reading articles from Chicago. And little clippings and clippings to wear your mask. And then I think it was the state of Massachusetts passed a law that you must wear a mask in public to stop the spread of Spanish influenza. So we had this happen 102 years ago. And if you go back and read the articles and go back and read the clippings and the announcements from the government, it's the exact same thing that they're doing to us today, 102 years later.
And what was the situation on international banking at that time?
In 1918, it was President Woodrow Wilson around that time, I think that year in 1918 around Christmas time, sold out the Americans and passed a law for Income Tax Act, right?
Cheers.
Woo! And that year they passed the Income Tax Act. I think it was income tax and some other some weird crap where basically Woodrow Wilson sold out the American populace.
And now we got Trump signing off to the American people. How many trillions recently?
I don't even know, man. I stopped counting when we hit high millions.
We're not talking millions or billions. We're talking $6.2 trillion. The federal debt just went up 30% with the stroke of a pen, not even a couple of weeks ago.
Man, you know how many Chinese immigrants they need to bring in to pay that off? With lots of money?
Well, expect hyperinflation shortly. But, okay, how about let's look at Canada. Like, most of our audience is Canadian or not?
You're going to have to repeat that question. I'm sorry.
Most of our audience is Canadian? Yes, no?
I have no idea. We got a lot of people from Australia. We got people from New Zealand watching. I know there's people from New Zealand because I know their names. I got some people watching I have one from Florida, one from Atlanta. I know that's here. One from Arizona, New Mexico, California. I don't know. Lots of people. Yeah.
But anyways, if you look at the last couple of years, there's been so many false flags. There's so much manipulation in the media, right? Look at New Zealand. They used that to try to take away the guns. And how many guns were handed in? A couple dozen?
Yeah.
Okay, so at least some people are clued in, and some people aren't going to give up their guns.
Mm-hmm.
But the shit is hitting the fan. The sheep herders are getting nervous because the sheep are starting to say, no, we're kind of figuring out what's going on here. And now they really got to ratchet it up. This is the last stand for the parasites. Either we as Canadians get this right, and hopefully Americans will too. And in the 1880s, America lost common law. And that's when it's been downhill ever since for them.
Well, then that's when they had to start registering land for land tax.
Yeah, and then shortly, 20 years later, you got income tax, and then tax on this, tax on that.
After
tax,
the Great
tax,
War.
tax,
Remember
tax.
that war to end all wars?
No, I wasn't around.
Well,
You?
there was the war to end all wars. That was called World War I. But guess what happened after that? They ended up planting the seeds for World War II.
And the bankers made off like scoundrels. They made money hand over fist on all sides.
Well, every bank lots of banks were supporting both sides.
Yep, we're talking the big banks, Federal Reserve, the international settlement funds, and all those other international, and it's all fiat currency too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, slowly they take more and more from us. They strip us down more and more. They brainwash us more and more. They're enslaving us more and more. Do you think a sheep knows what freedom is? It's been in a pen all the time. It's always had the sheep herder around.
Well, Eduardo, that's why I brought up like maybe 4 or 5 for the last 4, 5, 6 years that the younger generations now are being massaged into believing that owning a house is only for rich people. Owning a car is only for rich people. They don't understand that, no, it's not for rich people. It's for the average wage worker. But the younger people coming in now are thinking they're already bought out of life. And that's the scary part.
Wow. So they used the same techniques as Nazis used and the Russians used in the 20s, 30s to manipulate the youth. So that's the next generation that's coming up. So yeah, if they can get rid of the older generation quicker, why not release the COVID-19? It works right into their agenda, and anyone that's going to speak out against that, you're a conspiracy theorist. Sorry,
but it's a conspiracy theory again. It's a conspiracy theorism. Conspiracy theory was spun in 1963, November 22nd, when eyewitnesses of the JFK assassination came forward and said, I saw what happened, officer. Take my statement. Oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist. Anybody that goes against the status quo or goes against what they saw with their own eyes are conspiracy theorists.
Well, that was CIA invented that term, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all about control, people. They want to control us sheep. We're getting a little bit too smart, and the internet's giving us a little bit too much communication. Too many people are speaking out against it, and it's growing. By the way, Europe, the lockdowns are ending. I spoke to someone in Slovenia on Friday. As of Monday, there's a whole bunch of restrictions being lifted.
Okay.
Slovenia is just at the Italian border.
That's right, by Romania.
Yep, between Romania, Italy, south of Austria.
Yeah. Do you think they're easing these restrictions too early? Do you think Trump's going too early with these easing the restrictions, or do you think he should wait at least another week or two to see what happens in the surrounding states of New York? Because now the other states are picking up.
Personally, I think all this data has been massaged. We've seen so much scams going on with the reporting. They really don't have even a good test, or maybe they've got a good test in the last week. Mm-hmm. So all the testing data has been flawed. Mm-hmm. And if anyone does data work, garbage in, garbage out, right? Your graphs or your models are only good as the information you put into them. So if you're putting garbage in, you're going to get garbage out.
You know why I have a really tough time with this whole Canada thing and what's happening is because Canada sides with China. Canada sides with communism. I don't, anything they tell us, it's all paid propaganda.
No, only liberals, NDP, and Green people side with China. Everybody else, definitely not.
No, I don't. You know how I feel about the whole communist regime. China.
Well, it's ultimate. It's part of the system. It's their system. They want to bring it here. They want world communism, China. And they're going to do it slowly. Even the Chinese know that they cannot win a conventional war with the U.S., so they've got to do it other ways, and this is one of the ways that they do it.
They flood. You know how much fentanyl? Was it fentanyl? What did they bring? Opioids? What did they bring from China? They were making in government-owned government-owned factories were making billions of tons of this. What is it? Opioids, or was it fentanyl? I can't remember what it was.
It wasn't fentanyl. It was carfentanil that was found. Remember the shooting? It's about a year and a half ago on the Danforth.
Mm-hmm.
2 girls were killed. 13 were wounded. One of the girls is in a wheelchair by a Islamic extremist.
Okay, I remember that guy. Yeah.
Well, where he was staying, they went and they raided the place, and that's where they found, I think it was 58 kilograms. Don't quote me on these numbers, but I think it was around 50 to 70 kilograms of carfentanil. And if you take the population of Canada, that's 58 deadly doses for every Canadian.
That guy had that much?
Yeah.
That guy makes Pablo Emilio Gaviria Escobar look like a junior.
We're talking a cement sack of carfentanil. That's how strong this shit is.
Holy.
And that's what's going in the weed, killing people.
Yeah, someone's we're getting a little choppy here. Someone's telling me to get the gravy out to pour down my pants, so the stream could smooth out. You know what I'm saying?
You got the best audience, man.
Oh yeah, I don't have a big there's not a lot of following on like I have like a very small, good, tight following here. So we have a good form of communication with each other, which is nice, and we know each other. A lot of the people on here know my family. They know where I live. Like, how many YouTubers do you know of that you could go to their place of work and they'll be there? Like right now, like, you know how I'm in my store? Like, I'm at my store. Anybody could come and see me. I have nothing to hide. There's not a lot of people like that actually that let people come and reach out to people. You know what I mean? Like, let's say you were in my area and say, "Oh, I want to go see Mike Martins. I've been watching that guy for years. I know where his store is. I think he's working today." You come and see me. There's no, what do you call it? Schedule, or there's no appointment to be made, you know?
Personally, I know a dozen.
Okay, that you could personally go and meet. Yeah.
I know a dozen medium-sized YouTubers, yeah, personally. At least a dozen.
Mm-hmm.
I love China.
Kevin J. Johnson, Derek Story, Rick Boswick, Mr. Vaughn. I know Menzies from Rebel. I know Faith Goldie.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Rance. I know a lot of these guys.
Okay. All right. I'm just saying, like,
personally.
Yeah. Okay. But you know what I mean, right? Like, somebody could just go out and just drive to and say, "I'm gonna go see Mike Martins," type of thing, with no, how do you say it? No schedule or meeting, just show up.
Actually, I would never do that to someone.
At my work?
I was in a real jam. I'd call first, yeah.
Dude, everyone comes to my shop to visit me. I had people from Spain come and visit me that watch my channel.
Well, if it's a commercial store, it's different. But if I'm going to someone's house, I'll call first.
Oh, that's different. A house. No.
It's not polite.
We got Anthony Ruvo Lacaba sending me $5 for more coffee. Woo!
Hey, let's put this question out there. How many people believe that Canada is a country?
No, it's not. It's never. No, it's a corporation.
Ah, bingo. Okay, but how many people out there know that? Let's get some thumbs up in the YouTube.
Dude, Eduardo, our cities that we live in are corporate numbers.
Yeah.
They're all corporations.
Yep. So don't think that we're serving them. We're here to pay them.
Your SIN number at birth, your name doesn't even matter. It's your SIN number that's your corporate number.
Well, I'd like to hand mine back one of these days because I've given up on the pension.
Really? So you're not going to Costa Rica?
Well, if I give the SIN number back, I don't have to pay taxes. Now, I won't be able to use the social system. I won't get welfare. I won't get if there's any retirement funds left, I won't get that either, right?
Right.
But I don't have to pay taxes if you can hand back your social insurance number.
You can't. I don't think they'll allow you to. You have to be numbered.
It's tough, but it can be done apparently. and that's what the free man on the land movement's about. And that gets pretty complicated. You got to watch it. It's a very dangerous position to be in. And contract law. We never really had common law in this country. We've always been an admiralty law. We've always been a ship at sea. Just a tidbit. After the Second World War, Canada had a huge flotilla, right? I just learned this today. Guess who all those ships got sold to on pennies on the dollar?
China.
No. Onassis.
China.
Onassis.
I don't even know what that means, man.
Jackie Onassis?
Oh, it's a person.
One of the Kennedys married Onassis, which is became a huge shipping magnate.
Okay, I did not know that. Sorry.
Look up Onassis, and where did his money come from?
China.
He bought. This is after the Second World War. He bought all the ships from the Canadian military, because Canadian military for the Second World War, England said, Canada, you guys are going to take all the ships that are in Canada, and you're going to start sending us stuff, including troops, planes, parts, food, whatever we could for the war effort.
Right.
So all those ships were taken from the private owners, put into the flotillas,
right,
or the Navy or whatever, and after the war, they were all sold off. That's how the guy made his gazillions.
Wow, I did not know that. That's a good piece of dark history there.
Oh, there's tons of history, and the whole scam since December 10th, 1931. Officially, we should have started working on writing our own constitution and becoming a real country. That never happened.
Don't tell me China. I'm just joking. I'm on a China thing today, man.
The Mandarins. I love China.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, have the Canadians look into the mythoscanada.com.
Mythoscanada.com. Can you put the link in our live chat when you get off with me, so we can go to it?
Sure. There's real histories to be found there, and what we've been taught in school, not even close.
Oh, yeah.
We were nothing more than a colony up until the Queen Victoria died in 1901, and after that we should have become a country, and we didn't.
Mexico.
And they tried to keep it hidden from us. You'll never read about the Balmoral Declaration of 1926.
Well, we should do a show together, like just me and you, and actually go over we'll start in the 1850s and work our way up and do a 3-part series.
I'm going to get Doug Force in to have that conversation, because this guy knows a lot of that stuff. And once the audience picks up on the Myth is Canada and starts spreading that around, it's on Facebook, and they've got, and also Nephilim Films presents the Myth is Canada on YouTube.
Yep.
And there's also the mythoscanada.ca is on the internet.
Okay.
It's the website. And I'll get Doug Force you can interview Doug Force. Read up a little bit on it.
I will. I would.
I'll send you the PDF of the book, Ho Canada.
It's not Chinese, is it?
No.
You said Ho Canada.
Ho Canada.
Yeah.
That's the title.
All right, Eduardo. Lots of love, buddy. Stay strong, and we'll keep in touch, okay?
Yeah, people look at everything with that third eye. If it doesn't smell right, something's wrong.
All right, buddy. You take care,
Thanks.
okay?
You, bye.
God bless you. That's my man, Eduardo, watching the show. He's always got my back. Always got my back. All right, back to the comments. So we're getting a lot of interruptions with the connection here. So I got to have a gravy thing ready. And I don't know if I should bluff. I'm going to pour gravy down my pants just so the allocation of bandwidth doesn't get sent to more important channels. All right, who we got here? We got Lord Humongous. Woo! We got Tignim. Oh, Ho Canada. We got Real Kevin Thompson. Conspiracy Theories. We got Layla. That's my girl. I think she's still in Syria. Axel Rose. Raven, what's your favorite Guns N' Roses song? Well, if you're to ask me that, I would say I like Live and Let Die. And You Could Be Mine. And I like, I don't mind November Rain, like at a wedding or something to slow dance. I don't know. There's a couple of good songs actually. They have their album Appetite for Destruction. I think was one of their better albums. But let's not get into music right now. Okay, Jay Smith website 3 times in Canada, and you got $2,000. Kiwi Down Under says, "I love China." I know you do, Kiwi Down Under. We got AV from the Yukon. Thanks for joining us. We got Sean Lemon. I can't even read that. Lemonerman in the house. Layla again. The Raven with sunglasses in the house, giving us an emoji smiling face. Aquarius in the house. Tignim, Elizabeth, Double Dash in the house. 42O from the United States in the house. Globetrotter Mike. Oh, we got all our regulars here tonight. That's good. A lot of people ask, why do you have so many? Well, no, it's because I'm on so many time zones that if I'm live, let's say at 2 in the afternoon, depending on what time it is in the world, there's always somebody in some sort of time zone that could always be there with the wrench, right? MK Ultra. I heard about MK Ultra too, Mind Control. That was, I think, back in the 60s. When they start giving everyone speed and all that kind of crap and just... Mr. Roboto saying, Mike, why don't I have a wrench anymore? I have no idea what's been happening with some Axel Rose, Wacko Jacko. NDE Awakening is from Vancouver. Wait, you got the Raven calling in. Is this the real Raven or is this a fake call? Hello?
How's it going, buddy?
Holy shit, it's the Raven! What's up, buddy?
Not much. Just watching the show.
Did you send me a friend request again on Skype?
Yeah, because I loaded a different Skype. I was talking to Lord Humongous today.
Yeah, because I don't know if you know this, but today I got like 52 Skype invites from.
Yeah, no worries.
No, let me tell you what happened.
I'm used to being ignored.
No. Let me tell you this. You're gonna like this one. I got the fake Kevin Thompson, like from Skype. Yeah. The real Kevin Thompson. Supreme Canon again. The fake Supreme Canon again. The Raven part 2. I got like all these ones and they're all fake ones. I even got another one from working on it again, and it's not a real one.
You know what else you need on there? You need COVID-19 because that's fake too. You should put that on there.
Okay, tell us why it's fake, Raven. Go ahead, speak your mind.
Oh, I got a month of researching these doctors and all this stuff. There's a guy named what's his name? Wilklet. I can't remember his name. It's Knut is his first name. He's German. He was he's a PhD in epidemiology for the Rockefeller University for 20 years, and he was also a PhD professor at university in Germany for 15 years.
Okay.
He says, hey, let it run its course. 2 weeks, it's over. You're looking at 10,000 dead in America. Isolate the old and the fragile and the immunity, the immune system compromised. Isolate those people and let it run its course like every other coronavirus we've had, and it would be over. But we know that there's a deeper agenda behind all this, so we can just forget that. But lots of doctors coming out, man, one after another, saying, I think pretty much everybody's starting to realize that it was way blown out of proportion. But, hey, let's flatten that curve.
So tell us, I know that David Icke has an angle too that this virus doesn't even exist. It's not even real.
No, I believe it exists.
Okay.
I do believe it exists, and I believe it kills people that are old and have a hard time breathing, and a lot of people have compromised immune systems,
right,
like the old, eh?
Right.
And I believe it's really bad for them. But hey, so is the flu, so is skydiving. So whatever. They blew it out of proportion. And you know what? China, they raised the number of their dead. They lowered the number of their testing to get a better a death rate. You can see it in every number all around the world. It's all bullshit, Mike.
But
sorry to let you in on that. It's all bullshit.
But you know what the thing is? Let me tell you something here. Just let me say something here real quick. China is going to be off this map real soon with the amount of total cases. China is going to be, even if they raise their bar, they're still going to be off the map because look how many cases are in the U.S., Spain. This is what they have confirmed, right? And
yeah, I believe a lot of people are going to wake up off this, and I believe we're all going to be on the same page in about 2 or 3 months, because this was a big thing for them to do, and it's going to become apparent. You know what? I try to explain to people different ways, and I'm always looking for a different way. And I thought of something today. Let's look at it like let's use an analogy. Look at the fire in Australia. Okay, remember the fire? You did a show on that.
We covered that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the weekend Soleimani got killed there. Let's look at it this way. COVID-19 is a forest fire. Okay.
Right.
So over here you got Earth, and all these countries are starting to get COVID-19, and over here you have forest fires. That's just like COVID-19. Okay. So over here we're giving the hospitals incentives to stamp everybody COVID-19 that comes in. If you can get them on a ventilator, we'll jack that price up to $39,000. Well, that's a hell of an incentive. If the guy jumps out of a plane and his parachute doesn't go off, he died of COVID-19. If he gets hit by a bus, he died of COVID-19. Okay. Over here we have a forest fire, and instead of the guys shooting water at the fire, they're painting the trees with oil. They're spraying gas on the grass. They get it to go faster this way, faster that way. It's all a manipulation. They're pushing it. They're doing whatever they can. Sure, you're flattening the curve, but you're widening the curve. You're going to make this go longer. Oh, they say, well, we don't want to kill our hospitals with so many people. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. That's all I could say. You know what? Out of respect, I'll stay 6 feet away from you. I will. Out of respect, I'll stay 6 feet away from you. But every time I see someone driving in their car wearing a mask and they're by themselves, I feel like slapping them in the head. I'm getting pretty tired. Of all this bullshit. It's bullshit. Look at all the PhD. They named 17 of them today. Hey, one was from Manitoba. They all said, let it run its course. 2 weeks, it's almost over. Within 1 month, it's gone. And this isn't even a very deadly, it would be a mild flu season. Oh, but then again, nobody's dying from the flu anymore. Nobody's dying from pneumonia. Nobody's dying from heart disease or heart attacks.
I get your angle.
We stamped them all COVID-19. You know what? You know exactly how I think about this. These guys released this, and it wasn't a lab, and it wasn't a bat. This was brought in. China, well, you were talking fentanyl. China sends fentanyl. The American government is very happy that you can kill people with fentanyl. It's all about population. It's all about control. That kid who called in earlier, he knows it's all about control. Whatever they can do. You think it's bad that China's shipping us tons of fentanyl coming in the mail and all that and killing our people? That's bad. Bad China. No, that's good China. Knock the numbers down any way you can. They've tried. They put up the LED streetlights, screw our metabolism. It plays with our circadian clock. I'm looking at them right now. You think it's daytime. They're so bright. That's reproduction. Look at the polymers they coat the bottles with, the cans with. Look at the chemtrails. They tried their hardest to knock down the population. They failed. Look at the vaccines. Bill Gates says, I can bring the population down with vaccines. And then you got Kissinger. We need half our population.
Whoa. That guy's still alive?
Yeah, he is. He's been taking enough adrenochrome, eating enough kids, I guess, him and the Queen.
I thought that guy died like 20 years ago because he's like 102.
So is Charlie Munger. Look at the Queen. They're all old. David Rockefeller. All those guys live to be super old.
I want to send a special thank you to Grindhouse Cartoons, $5. The Diabolical Raven is on. All right, so now, I'm not even going to ask you if you think Trump is going to ease restrictions early, because if it's
I watch every move they make. The pandemic, when they called it a pandemic, everything's timing. Their architects have laid it all out. Their architects know when the protests will start. Their architects know that if we release it in China, in Wuhan, between the lab, between the market, we'll argue over the location. The architects have laid it all out. They're smart, but you know what? This is too big. It's just too big, and there's going to be things they can't control. They can't control the fact. They can't control the fact that we know that there's not a big enough death count. You know what they're going to say? Oh, social distancing worked. Oh, it worked really good. Look, we kept the death count down. It worked really good. There's no real way you can catch them because there's an answer for everything you can say to them. Just looking for that one thing that's going to come out where they can't defend themselves.
Let me ask you something, Raven? Okay, because I've been following this virus. I don't care. I've been kind of following it a bit in Europe, because I'm Portuguese, right? Following it, its origins from China, kind of following it around the world, kind of following the pollution, the cloud, the poisonous venom that's floating around. Now, the one thing I can't get over, okay, is I've been watching Colombia, I've been watching Ecuador, I've been watching Peru, I've been watching these countries through a microscope, okay? I've even spoke to a couple of people down there, okay? Like conversation, okay? How are they, if it's not real, okay, it's real, you believe it's real, but they're blowing it out of proportion is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a cold, it's a flu, it's a nasty flu.
Okay, how is in Guayaquil, in just, it's about 200 miles south of Quito in Ecuador. There was an outbreak because of an older woman in her 70s went to Italy, and she came back 5, 6, 7 weeks ago from Italy to Ecuador, and apparently she's the one who brought in the virus into Guayaquil. Now the problem is the amount of cadavers. Here in Canada, I mean, I'm pretty sure we could secure a body bag or garbage bag or something to help, to help the coroner out type of thing. But there, they don't have that stuff, okay? A lot of them don't. And the amount of cadavers that are piling up in Ecuador is phenomenal. And the age of them, too. We're not talking old people. We're talking about this one kid who's an orphan now, and he lost his mom, his dad, now his aunt's taking care of him. Right.
Okay.
But
you're
how
saying
can they
body
stage
bags?
So much, and why in Ecuador? Nobody cares about Ecuador. No one's watching this in Ecuador like I am. And the CCTV cameras and the cell phone footage that people are releasing to let people know what's happening is phenomenal. I've never seen so many bodies being dumped in front of a hospital and people drive away. Not body bags. Bodies.
There are thousands of pieces to this chess game. Just like Sweden didn't do a lockdown. Why? They're buying an alibi. Who lives in Sweden? Who banks? Bank of International Settlements. Who lives in Sweden? Whose land is that? Hey, why not? We don't do a lockdown and make us look like we're innocent. But what you're saying about those body bags, look at the Island of Tears off of New York. What's that called? Hope Island?
Mm-hmm.
How many bodies were they burying? They had that big headline story, Island of Tears. They did it over and over. It's showing the aerial footage of them loading bodies into the graves. Hey, newsflash. They've been loading bodies into graves there for 151 years.
A lot of them are inmates, prison inmates.
5 a day. That was a blown out of bull fake news story. They've been doing it over and over and over. They own all the media. You got to look at the alternative media, the doctors coming out, the whistleblowers coming out, saying, "Hey, these guys are skewing all the death certificates." If we actually counted the people who died of COVID, you could probably do it on your hands, Mike. Well, maybe not on your hands, but it's a hell of a lot lower. But they need the numbers up. If you don't get the numbers up, all these people driving around with masks. Well, these idiots are going to start wondering, hey, well, why am I wearing a mask? I leave the house, Mike, 0% do I care about a virus out there. 0. I don't give a shit. I go everywhere. I go into I don't care. I do not care. I've heard enough experts of them telling me I believe them. I don't believe the people that brought you 9/11. I don't
Oh, I
believe
don't
the
believe.
people.
You know, I don't believe in any of that stuff. When people say, "Oh, Mike, what do you feel about 9?" I only have to say, Building 7 or Building.
Well, Building 7,
Yeah.
the architects and engineers just came back and said it was done with detonation. That's a fact now. That's
We
in the
know,
book.
but we knew this was a controlled demolition from the day
We
of.
know that. You know what? I don't even discuss that day anymore with people. That one's done. I also don't discuss if Santa Claus is real. That's all done. That's in the past.
Okay, what
That's
about
done.
the Tooth Fairy?
No, no, no. I used to only get a quarter. So
Okay, so
Yeah.
Peru. So we're looking at Peru. And the images, never mind images or edited photo. I'm talking about cell phone videos from people. Why would they take a cell phone, edit it, and then re-edit it, then upload it?
why were the Chinese allowed to videotape everything with their cell phones?
A lot of them
watching that.
lost their lives doing that.
I was watching. No, I don't think so. I was watching that. They wanted it to get out. They had. Hey, I'll tell you what. Try releasing this virus in Texas. Try welding people into their apartments in Texas. See what's going to happen there, or Michigan. See what'll happen there. Not going to happen, buddy. But the architects knew that. So that's why it was introduced. Location, location, location. At the lab, between the market and the lab. Perfect location. It was perfect. They knew we'd argue about it. They knew there'd be 20 Zero Hedge articles saying, we're going to investigate the lab. Now Trump's coming out going, it could be the lab, but then Trump's even trying to back that guy's a genius, by the way. Genius, because of what he knows in his head that he can't spill, and he never brings it up. And there's many angles that he doesn't bring up, but he looks like a fool, and he's got everybody fooled. That guy's really good. He's saying, oh, well, the bat was 40 miles away. He's trying to give an alibi for China. He's got everyone completely fooled. It's amazing. I like that guy. I give him a lot of credit, more than other people do.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good actor. So, but it's. I think people are figuring it out now, Mike. That it's a planned event. They're jacking the numbers. There's tons of people in your room. Pseudoscientists, he knows it. Layla knows it.
Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth knows it. Angela knows it. The Lord Humongous knows it. I know those people, and there's lots more in there that know it. Your other caller there knew it.
Okay,
they're jacking the numbers.
Raven, let's look at the Spanish influenza. Everything. I don't know if you watched a couple of Mike and the Nights ago, where we were going over articles, and we were going over commercials and stuff that they put in the newspapers, just basically telling people to social distancing. And then some states in the U.S. passed a law that they had to wear a mask. They passed the social distancing. I think it was in 1918. All the movie picture halls, theaters, museums, everything was closed. Schools were closed. And yeah, this was a big deal. It was the same thing, and it was 102 years ago. And everything they're implementing today is what they did 102 years ago.
Where did you think they got the ideas from?
Well, no, I understand that, but that's the logical way to stop.
Mike, hey, all those games in your store are made out of cardboard, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't handle those anymore because paper transmits COVID. We can't use paper anymore because banknotes transmit COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't use paper anymore. We can't write letters. We can't open our bills. We can't use paper anymore. We can only use plastic and metal because paper supposedly transmits that disease. Oh, but wait, it's only banknotes. They had this plan 2 decades ago, Mike.
No, I understand. So here it is. Let's go back to Ecuador. So we got bodies are being left on the streets in an overwhelmed Ecuadorian city. So there's this is the problem with these countries is they're having huge issues. Then I brought up this other article here that they ran out of coffins, right? But the country never ran out of coffins before, but all of a sudden it's running out of coffins now, and they're using boxes, like cardboard boxes, makeshift cardboard boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And I I'm not really kind of in the whole Canada thing. I'm just watching this. And watching that CCTV here, it is bodies everywhere. Like I'm talking like
if you're watching television, you're being programmed. If you're reading their news, you're being programmed. If you don't read the news, you're uninformed. And if you read their news, you're misinformed. They're full of shit. That's the way it is, man. Look at the history of these people. They tell you everything that they want to do. Everything. You just got to pay attention to what they're saying. Give me the money of a nation. I care not who's in power. You know, they tell you we're going to inflate the currency away.
Okay, so if you believe that this virus is real, it's a mild flu, and it's at best it's a mild flu, and they're pumping the numbers and stuff. Fine.
It's a nasty flu.
Huh?
It's a nasty flu.
Okay,
is what I said.
But then what's going to happen to the I don't think these poorer countries are making this up. That's what I'm trying to say.
I don't think the poor countries are in on it.
But there's so many people dying.
I think Xi Jinping, Putin, Trump, Macron, Germany, I think there's certain countries that are in on it. And they're all working together because those people are all rich and powerful. They don't want to screw with each other. They use the war tactics to keep the 7.8 billion insects in place. Okay? That's about it. That's it. They don't want to war with each other. Hey, you got 100 billion. I got 100 billion. You own a country. So do I. Do I want to war with you? No. Do I want to nuke you? No. Let's work together. Because if we don't, within 20 years, society disintegrates at the rate it's going. That's a fact. And I think we can all see that with the amount of protests last year. 45% of the countries are in protest. It's fallen apart. But there's another aspect to this that I've been looking at closely. I'm not an environmentalist.
Wait, I thought you were an environmentalist.
No. I'm not into global warming. All that
I
shit.
know you're not. I'm just giving you.
It's okay. But the thing is, I've been looking at a lot of the news lately on Antarctica, Greenland, the ozone, and the mega drought hitting America. They might be in a bit of a problem. Well, we might be in a bit of a problem here. And then you throw in those 11,000 scientists last year that said we got about 12 years. And I know they've done that before. In 94, 15,000 scientists said we had time. But, I swam in the lake last year, and it was the hottest water I ever swam in my life. And I just thought, man, this is getting out of control. They might be. We just dumped 2.5 billion tons of carbon. We shut down industries. I'm not 100% sure. That's just something I keep off on the side, thinking, why? Because you're always looking to connect the pieces, right? You're always looking to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And I don't know. There could be a climate aspect to this. And like Ted Turner said, too many people, man. Too much nitrogen dioxide. We're heating the planet up. We're doing it. That's what's happening. We got to get people off this planet. And I said to you 10 weeks before the first COVID case came out, I told you they're going to sever food distribution, Mike. They're going to do Brexit. They're going to do a small-scale war. The general got killed. I thought that was going to be it. It wasn't. It turned out to be a pandemic. But I told you 10 weeks before the first case that they're going to sever food distribution. And look what's happening around the world right now. They're dumping milk in the States, onions, squash, cucumbers, the mushrooms. They got the meat processing plants. I was talking to Lord Humongous about that. In Canada and the States, they're shutting down meat processing. All the restaurants are closed, man. They can't ship their food. And look at your stores. How much stuff? We're almost out of beer in our beer vendors.
Whoa! Yeah. You're almost out of beer locally.
Yeah.
Now we're talking. Now we can see riots.
And there's people out of town in the small towns that were telling us they're out of beer. They can't even buy it. But now they're starting to shut down liquor stores and they're taking away gun laws and they're changing laws. So you know what? COVID-19 is a gift from the devil. It'll get you anything you want. If you're a government, ask for something. COVID will give it to you. You want population gone? Sure, use COVID. You want to tighten borders? You want to get rid of currency? You want whatever you want. You can't think of something you can't get from COVID. It gives you everything. It's the ultimate gift. So I have a hard time believing this was by accident and they've done this to the world just coincidentally, all rolled out like this. I believe it'll become apparent in the next month or 2, 3 months. But the problem is the protests are forcing their hand now. We're forcing their hand. We're starting to get agitated. We want out of our houses. We want out of our houses. Now we're forcing the hand. If they're going to bring this system down, they're going to do it in the next 2 to 4 weeks because people aren't going to stay in their houses any longer. The numbers don't call for it. Right?
Let me ask you a very important question. How does this make you feel?
I don't really give a shit. I'm fully prepped, man. I'm good to go. Fully prepped.
Well, I'm open to everything. Like what you're saying, okay. What they're saying, I'm obviously questioning what they're saying. But I'm kind of looking at it from like a completely different perspective. Like when I was watching what was happening unfolding in Ecuador in February and early March, like, oh, the warm weather's going to kill it. I'm like, no. Is anyone watching what's happening in Ecuador? It's not a warm weather. This is something that's going to stay around, and it could take a long time for it to get out. I mean, for it to dissipate, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then look at Iran. It was hot there too, right?
Exactly. Well, no. Iran has pretty chilly winters. Raven. It's actually pretty cool there.
I wouldn't know. I don't plan on visiting.
Well, I thought we were friends.
I'm not going to Iran with you.
Okay, Dave Sabrini sent me $5.49 Canadian for a coffee. Thank you so much, Dave. I appreciate that. All right. Okay, so Raven, I haven't heard from you. Well, I messaged you a few times.
You know what? I can't come on too much because I respect everybody's opinion. I respect your opinion. You're a very good host, Mike, because you don't get upset with anybody. You just rolls off. You never get upset. That's a very good host. That's a good quality of a good host.
Well, no, I don't want to. It's not that I don't want to offend anybody. I just want everybody to have their say, right?
Yeah, I couldn't sit in your chair. I also couldn't work in customer service.
Yeah.
No, but I respect everybody's opinion. And some things some people say kind of give me a piece to the puzzle too, eh? And I'm like, and there's some people in your room there that do amazing amounts of research, like that Angela. Holy crap, she does research. Mm-hmm. You've ever had her on your show?
I don't think Angela?
Yeah. You don't see her in the room, but she comments on all your shows. Like you see her with links. It's
that's right. Yes. I'll have anybody on the show. Anybody could come on the show. I don't care.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Should have her on. She's like a bundle of knowledge there. But yeah. Anyway.
Well, it's so good to hear from you, and we'll talk. Well, call me whenever. During the week. I'm always around.
You know what? I see if I was coming on too often and then people were arguing, going, no, you know what? It's best to just give them 2-3 weeks or whatever and let them figure it out on their own, then come back and, okay. I saying the exact same thing right from the start. Mm-hmm. This is a planned event. Xi Jinping, Trump, these guys are all working together on this, and there's a higher level than them. And it's a need-to-know basis as you go down all through the central bankers. But that CDC and the WHO and the BIS and the IMF and the World Bank, these guys are all corrupt entities. Mm-hmm. Like that CDC, they have 20 patents on vaccines. What did they make? What did they make a year? 4.8 billion on selling vaccines? I'm not taking Bill Gates' vaccine. He can shove
Wait. You're not taking the vaccine?
No, I never take them, man. Never.
I've never taken a vaccine in my life. I think when I was born, I got my tetanus shot.
Yeah.
I think I got something else too. I think I took a shot when I went to Brazil when I was young, and I had to take a shot when I went to Portugal, like long time ago.
Yeah, I think in school they might have zapped me a couple times. But after that, I just said no. And I remember getting arguments with my doctor about that, H1N1 and all that. I said, no. I don't want that. I don't think what do you mean you want to inject the disease into me? No, that just didn't sound right to me. Mm-hmm. No. Mercury, aluminum, formaldehyde, all that crap.
You can get all that by going to like some park, start digging the dirt and rolling around in the dirt, getting in your teeth, your eyes, go home and shower, you're pretty much very vaccinated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know how when we were kids, we used to play in the dirt and all that stuff?
Yeah, I know.
That was actually good for us, believe it or not.
You're a little younger than I am, but yeah. Around your age, the video games started coming out, eh? You're born in what, 80?
78, bud.
Oh, 78. You're an old guy, eh?
I got 23 years to go.
23.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll hang up, Mike, and let someone else come on there.
God bless you, Raven,
But,
and we'll talk soon, okay, buddy?
Yeah. Okay, right on.
Bye.
Bye.
That is the Raven. I just added him, and I'm going to add him on our favorites list. I have so many people trying to add me on Skype, but there are people already on the channel that already have added on Skype. So I got like 7 Raven people from the Raven, 7 people with the Raven name or sounding like the Raven. Then I have like 5 Supreme Cannons trying to add me on Skype, like 5 or 6 Supreme Cannons. And I already have Supreme Cannon. Like, it's weird. You know what I'm saying? China. All right. Let's see what's going down here. All right, let's get to some articles because we haven't gotten to any articles at all tonight. So I don't know. Like, I mean, okay, if it's planned, there's a lot of innocent people in a lot of countries that like poorer countries that don't deserve this, that have lived a really testing life thus far and really worked to the bone. And a lot of people don't deserve this, right? Especially if it's planned and it was something that was set to release on the planet. There's just too many people that don't like this. Amazon's isolated Yanomami tribe. And like I remember when I went to Brazil, I think it was 28 when the last time I went. And when I went to Brazil, I wanted to go in to see one of these tribes on a boat, like on a canoe. And they said, no, you can't go there. Like it's like 30 miles upstream, but you can't go there. I'm like, well, do they speak Portuguese? It's like, usually, like 2 people in that tribe will speak Portuguese, so they could talk to the people, the people in Brazil, like if they're medical or I don't know, right? But usually, I'm like, oh, they wouldn't take me upstream to see some of these. They're probably like, no, you can't go up, you can't go see these people. Oh, we got Timmy calling back. Yo, what's up, dog?
Hey man, I'm calling again.
Yeah, I know you are. How you doing?
It's good. So this is about when I used to work for the National Disability Insurance Agency.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the National Disability Insurance Scheme now.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone was hijacking my symptoms, my coping. They were hijacking my symptoms, my coping, until I lost my arm and had to wait.
Oh! So you got sick, they could have done something, but they waited for you to lose your arm so they could do something about it?
No, they removed access from the guy with one arm for driving, and it's because everyone in the whole country was hijacking my symptoms.
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
It's hard to explain. But everyone was hijacking my symptoms, my coping. They were taking my friends away from me. Mm-hmm. And then they took access away from the guy with one arm. They said, just use the other arm. And it's because everyone was hijacking my symptoms.
Interesting. Well, send me a detailed message on Skype explaining it in depth.
It's hard to sort of explain.
Yeah, write it out. Write it out. It might be better. Write it out on the message later, and I'll read it later, okay? And then I can see.
I'm seeing a psychiatrist for it and that.
Okay. Yeah, just take your time, breathe, send it to me in a message, and I'll read it, okay, buddy?
Yeah, I sent a message before, like a little.
I saw that. That was one paragraph. Actually, write it out.
Yeah.
And then I could explain it to me, like in a story, and so I could understand What
So
you
when
mean?
you look at the symptoms, coping with emotions, they were my symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
The symptoms for the NDIA, and everyone was pulling them from me.
Interesting. 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 Okay. Well, Timothy, we'll keep in touch, and I'm gonna read some articles here. Okay, buddy?
All right, mate.
Stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
Bye. Yeah, usually when, from Australia to Canada, there's I'm trying to read Australian articles when I'm reading, and they're saying something, and I have to kind of rethink what they're trying to tell me. Then when I read an American article, it's different, the language. And then when I read from New Zealand, it's different. It's still English, but it's like from Portugal to Brazil. It's still Portuguese, like Angola speaks Portuguese, but, well, actually Angola is exactly the same like Portugal. But I'm not going to go there right now. But anyways, so, okay, let's see what the Gateway Pundit is bringing up here for us. The end of an era, Drudge goes full lefty, loses President Trump, go pro-Trump news instead. Larry J. Johnson, Senate Judiciary document dump exposes extensive FBI and DOJ corruption. What's new there? Media hack asks presidents about Paul Sperry's mosque tweet. President Trump defends Christians, Jews, Muslims, and blasts Jew haters in a Democrat Party. Attorney for woman arrested in reopened North Carolina protest sends fiery letter to the governor. More protests planned. Freedom rallies held in Indiana, Las Vegas, Idaho, Berlin, and Alex Jones crashes Austin rally in his tank. What? He went there with a tank? Los Angeles dumps tons of sand on Venice Beach skate park amid... Oh my God! What are they doing to the skate park? They're dumping sand all over the skate park? People are going to... will get upset about this. People will obviously are going to lash out on this. You can't do it to a skate park. Where all the trendies and hipsters going to go? All right, we got Layla here. We got Mike Oh, finally, Mike Banks. Where the hell have you been? We're waiting for you all night. Guys, don't forget to pick up a Mike in the Night t-shirt. Real nice. Woo! China owns the world. Yep, with their funny money. Supreme Cannon in the house. All right, let's continue here. So they want to close skate parks. Wow, I'm not on board with that, guys. I'm not on board with that. Okay, let's go over to our friends over at Zero Hedge. Government insists we're flattening the curve as deaths climb. Spain extends lockdown by 2 weeks. Wuhan reopening spells trouble for the world emerging from lockdown. Yeah, a lot of people are leaving Wuhan and fleeing and jumping on a plane, and guess where they're going? To the Commonwealth they go! Woo! Here are the problems with Trump's plan to reopen the economy. Market rallies into the resistance zone. Flush liquidity. Under Siege. Isn't that a movie, Under Siege, with Steven Seagal? I think that's based off a true story. Social unrest unfolds as frustrated Americans demand reopening of the economy. Insolvent Illinois begs Congress from pension bailout. That's not going to happen. You know why, Illinois? You got 5 layers of government there. You got 5 layers of pensions in Illinois. A lot of people don't know. Even people living in cities like Chicago don't even know that they have 5 layers of government. You think you have it bad in Canada or some cities? I don't think any, like, layers of government is phenomenal. And the pensions on the hook. Getting out of Dodge. A lot of people don't know what that means, getting out of Dodge. And let me tell you what getting out of Dodge means, okay? I used to go down to, when I'm in my early 20s, I used to go to downtown Detroit. I used to hit some clubs there, some beer holes there, cool places, just checking out downtown Detroit, right? And getting out of Dodge actually means getting out of Detroit, because the Dodge plant, the Dodge factory that was in Lansing? I don't remember, but it was in Michigan. And when people say, hey, I got to get out of Dodge, what they meant was they have to get out of Michigan or Detroit or Michigan State. And a lot of people don't know what they mean by getting out of Dodge. It means to get out of Detroit, right? And a lot of people don't know when someone, when we're kids, we're playing and a police car would come and we'd say 5-0. Well, a lot of people don't know what that means, but when they say 5-0 in New York State, I think it was, or a couple of parts, bigger cities in New York, they were using 5-liter Mustangs as police cars for a while, and they would say 5-0. And the little slangs are a little bit of, so when someone says, we got to get out of Dodge, means we got to get out of Detroit. That's what it means, right? Like, metaphorically. YouTube is being weird lately. Same thing happened with a channel I tried to share with someone else. They couldn't look it up, so I had to go into my history. Yeah. Also, okay, the plant, the Dodge plant was in Flint. Okay. Thank you, LGV7 GVG V7 LGV7. So getting out of Dodge after exciting loans and hiking mortgages standards, JP Morgan stops accepting HELOCs. How are people going to eat if they can't access their home equity to buy food? Because back in the day, we would just build wealth. Back in the day, we would build some sort of wealth system within ourselves and create safety nets within our own families. And we would create a way for us to survive so we don't have to be dependent, right, on home equity to eat. New COVID-19 authoritarians will only give up the power if they fear blowback. The Fed is all buyers have. The banks agree stocks have never been more expensive. V-shaped recovery. We had someone on the show for the V-shaped recovery. Narrative crushed as small businesses firing starts. And that was the McChronicle that came on the show that was talking about the V-shaped recovery. New York City housing activists urge massive wave of rent strikes because landlords have gotten taken care of. So that's that for that. Oh, is that my favorite, Rosie O'Donnell? Oh no, it's not her. I'm joking. All right, let's move on. Michigan. Residents armed with rifles and handguns to the teeth defy stay-at-home order. Hundreds of people, and some openly carrying rifles and handguns, have been protesting against restrictions aimed at stopping the spread of COVID in the United States. In the United States of Michigan, in the U.S. state of Michigan. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, guys. The state's governor, Gretchen Whitmer, has ordered people to stay at home and non-essential businesses to remain closed during COVID-19 outbreak. More than 630,000 people in the U.S. have been infected with the virus, which causes only mild symptoms for many, but can lead to severe complications or even death for others. So, I was getting numbers out of Iran that the average, you would see the age of death like 25 to 35, like at 28%, right? Oh, we got Lord Humongous. Yo, what's up, dog?
Yo. Hey,
Good.
You're just talking about that there's certain countries, like the poor third world countries, that don't deserve this.
Yeah?
Well, let me tell you about Bill Gates. He's responsible.
Oh, I know what you're going to tell me about Bill Gates. He's been working on depopulating Africa for many years.
Yeah, but not just that. His vaccines have literally paralyzed hundreds of thousands of Africans over there in Africa.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I know.
Yeah, Mike. I mean, this is all, the Ravens, right? It's all connected. These scumbags got to come down. They do. I mean, I know that they just stormed the Michigan Capitol because they're not going to be, they want to go back to their work and their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And the governor She tried to stop, she put out some bogus order. I don't know what it was, but they basically stormed it. There was dudes there was patriots that are armed with AR-15s walking around. I mean, the Americans aren't going to put up with this, man. You will see every capital in every state get stormed when this thing goes down, because it all goes back to the money power, dude.
Okay, let's talk. Can we talk about the District of Columbia?
Yeah.
They brought in earlier in the show, I'm not sure if you were here, but they ordered in 10,000 troops. What troop are we talking about? Are we talking about reserves? Are we talking about the National Guard? Who would come in?
It's probably active National Guard.
Okay, so they called in 10,000 troops in case the District of Columbia, a.k.a. White House area, gets sieged.
Yeah, it's very possible, but they're going to seize the wrong place. I mean, why take over all that? It doesn't make, it's like 10 square miles, man.
It is. You can walk around it like in 45 minutes, I said.
The international bankers have cashed out. The CEOs of these mega corporations, they're all cashed out. They're ready to go on the dole, man. And I think part of it is they're going to take down the Fed, and everything's going to collapse. It's going to happen mathematically one way or the other. They have crapped all over the U.S. Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, for many decades. And we have our own deep state military, all that garbage.
You forgot about the Bill of Rights?
Yeah, they shit on it, man. They've shit on it forever. They shit on it in 1971 when the District of Columbia became a super sovereign private entity.
Just like the Vatican.
Yeah, they masquerade as a government, and they're not. Just like the Federal Reserve is not connected to the U.S. government. It's a private central bank. But the bad part that what Trump's doing right now is he just merged a private international for-profit bank with the federal U.S. Treasury, and that's Steve Mnuchin, and he's pulling all kinds of crap too. I mean, but it's not just this one secretary, Mnuchin. This has been going on since Timothy Geithner, Ben Bernanke. I mean, they engineered the 2008 housing collapse. It's all connected. And now you got BlackRock. You want to hear some good information? You got this idiot, Larry Fink from BlackRock. He's a big climate, billionaire hedge fund. This guy manages $6-point-something trillion through the BlackRock fund. And these are the same assholes that came in after they created that housing collapse in 2008, and they bought up, a lot of the West Coast on pennies on the dollar. I remember all those California properties just getting sold to those guys through the whole mortgage fraud, foreclosure process. And these are the kind of super organizations that just are ripping the average human being to shreds with their greed of power and control. And that's how they control everybody, man. You have to, and Raven's right. Everything that comes through television is messing with people's minds. They had studies way back that the CIA did in the 60s on mind control.
Yeah, you messaged it in the comments, like at the beginning of the show with MK Ultra.
Yeah, the frames per. I worked in television for 15 years. Do you know the flicker rate on the megahertz on the screen? Actually, they could put those messages inside there. It's at the flicker rate. And so they can get you to say, oh my God, I got to go buy that new Porsche, because I saw that famous actor guy, driving it down the California beach highway. I mean, it's some sick shit, man, and it goes back. I mean, just forever. This is how wars get started. This is how these assholes operate. And Bill Gates is he's involved with AI technology. He's trying to bring in this whole, virus thing, vaccines. It's all connected, dude. It's all connected to this next 5G wave. So they can have their little Chinese communist world order with their program bots and these kill zones. And all these
they already bought up everyone's property.
Yeah. Yeah, and now they're going to put up their 5G towers, dude. You know, where does it stop? You know, all that high frequency trading is going to be done through those. It's already done through the towers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's all in the programming. Everything's a program. That's the matrix. You got to separate your mind from the matrix, dude, and you need to get out of that shit because it's detrimental to everybody. Everybody needs to. We need to get back.
Let me ask you a question. How come every time you're in the United States, whenever a Trump rally or something, I already went to like 3 images, there's always someone with a swastika flag somewhere. Always, when they're looking at pro-Trump.
Those are called agent provocateurs, man. They throw them in every protest. It doesn't matter if it's a left-sided protest or a right-sided. There's always agencies out there that throw in these dirt bags that go in there just to stir up a riot or cause grief. You know, most Americans want. I mean, even if you don't believe in communism or whatever, it's still your free choice. You know, until it starts taking over your rule of law. And that's what's been hijacked for a very long time as well. Our law system is screwed up. You know, just like Eduardo was talking about admiralty law. Yeah. That goes back to canon law. You know, that's the law of the sea. It's not the law of the land. The law of the land was the Constitution, and they subverted that through the federal government.
It was the law of the land because it was It was made for the people by the people, and it was based off Christian principles.
Right, but if you look at every police agency, they all follow admiralty law. It's the order of the Freemasons. All these clowns, these cops that you think are protecting your rights, they're not protecting your rights. They're taking away your rights. They're putting their boot of authority over your neck, and you're submitting under them. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
You're supposed to be a free individual. I mean, that's at least what the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence was supposed to be.
But it goes back to your God-given right.
Exactly. Nothing trumps that. That's what I want to get across to people. That no man's law trumps that. No government's law trumps that.
And one of your God-given rights is the freedom of speech. Now, if you want to impede with the Second or Third or Fourth Amendment, go back to the First.
Exactly. And it takes that Second Amendment to back up the First. That's why they want the guns so bad.
Well, they can't because they're going to have to revert back to the First Amendment.
Exactly. Or they're going to get shot. That's just the way it is. You know? The U.S. military doesn't have enough manpower to take down Americans and the amount of weapons that we have. They're not going to go that avenue. So they got to try to trick us and submit us and have us give away our rights, our God-given rights, through their forms, through their law system. You know, it's all programming, man.
So you think the 5G cameras are going to be rolling in? I think Canada ordered in several million cameras, HD surveillance cameras to go all over Canada.
You know what I would tell Canadians, if that's the case, and if you know where these 5G towers are going up, I would recommend that you guys get groups together and burn them to the ground.
Protest them or something. Well, they were doing that in New Zealand. I think they were doing that.
The UK and in Germany. There were some German citizens that burned down a couple 5G towers. They don't want that crap. You know, it's funny how everybody's got these stigmas in history about all these certain countries. Well, you know, countries change. You know, there's probably more freedom in Russia than there is in America. Sad to say, but and Canada. You know, I don't see the Soviet threat anymore. Do you? I see the Chinese threat. I don't see the Soviet one.
No, the Soviet one is the one that your former Vice President Hildog has been sputing for the last 1,000 years.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's all, you know. It's a 10G chessboard. And like I said before, you know, you have to be a critical thinker and you have to analyze every situation, you know, and then you got to make a discernment. You know?
Well, that's why you're on the show.
Well, I try to help out, you know, that's the best I can do.
Well, that's why you're here. And that's why the Raven was here. That's why everyone's here. So we could basically, Blunt News was on here. Everybody's on here because we need
Blunt was a good call. And he's I feel a sense that he's tired of everything. You know, there's a lot of millions of people, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They just want their freedom at the end of the day, and they want to be left alone. But these tyrannical governments make it impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And this banking system's garbage. It's done.
Well, when they started deregulating the banks in the 50s, 60s, and 70s to basically and then the last 7-8 years, a massive amount of deregulation that took place, basically leaving the average Joe Donuts basically in a state of peril because he has no idea what they're doing with his money anymore.
Right. Well, I told you about that Larry Fink guy that owns BlackRock, right? I was going to get back to my point about silver. So J.P. Morgan and the COMEX and the LBMA, they're responsible for the last 11 years of price rigging silver.
A lot of them have been indicted. There's some people doing time for that now.
Right, but get this. So J.P. Morgan now is transferring the SLV so-called ETF to BlackRock and that Larry Fink guy. Right? So now this guy's going to be short in the paper now.
Mm-hmm.
So it just keeps that whole cycle of electronic transferred funds, which are junk. It keeps people buying into that crap like GLD, SLV. If you don't hold the physical metal in your hand, it's no better than toilet paper, man. You'd be better off going and fighting over toilet paper at Walmart, just like the stupid central bank notes. It's all toilet paper.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's coming back down to zero, because all fiat always returns to its intrinsic value of zero.
Mm-hmm.
It fails. It's failed for, I don't know how long has paper money been around? The Chinese
it goes way back. It goes way back. There was even debt transfer on papyrus, dude.
Yeah. I love China.
Oh,
right?
Let me get that. Hold on. Let me get the I love China. Don't you like that one, Donald Trump?
I love China.
I do. Trump said it. I forget. I was like right after he got elected. He said he was a globalist and a patriot. How the hell can you? How is that? That's such an oxymoron, though.
Mm-hmm.
How can you say something like that?
Mexico.
It makes no sense, dude. The guy's connected. Wilbur Ross is his U.S. secretary. Was his Treasury Secretary? No, that was Mnuchin. But Wilbur Ross is another Rothschild agent. He's in there. He's got something to do with the money system. I forget. But, I follow so many dudes and so many stories daily. It's like information.
Yeah.
And I think the Ravens do that too. All this information, because our brains are very analytical and we're always thinking, But yeah. It's sad. I could paint the picture literally,
Mm-hmm.
but it would be in a trillion words, and it would take that long to explain every angle of what I put together over the last 30 years,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The conspiracy and the CIA did make up that term. It was William Casey in 1981 under Reagan. He says when the American people believe everything we put out, is false, then they know that they've completed their mission or whatever. I forget the exact wording, but
I know exactly where you're coming. That was written in that memoir there.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. It's just not coming to me right now. It's getting late.
No, he said this. He says, when the American people believe everything is false, then we will have completed our disinformation campaign or whatever it was. Yeah, something like that.
Wasn't that the guy who kind of blew the whistle on them going to war with Iran, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia?
No. Yeah, it was the Iran-Contra scandal with Ollie North. Yeah, and they bumped them off too. Just like, double tap to the back of the head, convenient, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Vince Foster and the Clintons and all these other guys.
Ross Perot.
Yeah, Ross Perot. Oh yeah, I was sitting in the back of my my car or my airplane, right? I was flying in my airplane, and I got a gunshot, wound to my head.
To the back of my head 3 times.
3 times, exactly, with a long barrel rifle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bolt action.
Bolt.
it's unbelievable the lies that are just so deep, bro. It's just too much. You know, if this country or this world's going to survive anything, we have to get back to some kind of true, honest money justice system or law system or whatever. But I think we need to get back to the Constitution.
That's the only way. That's the only way is BTC, buddy.
And I would take out everything past the 13th Amendment. You know.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the 14th Amendment is what really turned us into debt slaves over the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Yeah, it incorporated everybody. It was like, okay, we're going to make the blacks free now. So now everybody's a slave under this whole federal blanket of slavery, the debt slavery, the banker slavery, right?
Japan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
I'm going to let you go because I'm falling asleep.
Yeah, all right. Good night.
Thank you, Lord, for calling in. God bless you. And when your mug comes in, I'm going to mail it to you with some stuff.
Awesome. Good show.
See you, brother. All right, guys, we're approaching our third hour, is it? Yeah, 3 hours, guys. I am going to talk for a bit till 11 o'clock. And next week, again, don't forget to go on here. Let me do a quick channel plug here, guys. We'll get more callers in next week. The whole show has been callers. The whole show has been callers all day, which is good. We didn't get into a lot of articles because I kind of wanted to cover this article here, that Japan's coronavirus surpassed 10,000 and Tokyo's adding more cases, and this one's important. Japan doctors warn of a health system breakdown as cases surge, and once the hospitals start to break down, I think it's going to get really, really, really bad in Japan. So we're going to get our man from Japan on the show next week. From Japan, he's going to basically come on and give us a little lowdown on what's happening in his neck of the woods. He does live in Tokyo, so he can give us a little bit of a insight on what's happening on the ground in Tokyo and surrounding areas. Maybe he could do a live stream with us where he's like live and we could actually see where he is in Japan. Last time I checked, I think Japan was still a free country. COVID, Japan's medical system on the verge of collapse, doctors say. This is from tomorrow. This is from tomorrow's date because it is a day ahead there. Hospitals in Japan are increasingly turning away sick people as the country struggles with surging COVID infections and its emergency medical system collapses. So let's see recent case. Ambulance carrying a man with a fever and difficulty breathing was rejected by 80 hospitals and forced to search for hours for a hospital in downtown Tokyo that would treat him. Whoa. Another man in a hospital, paramedics unsuccessfully contacted 40 clinics. So, I don't know, guys. I mean, is this a hoax? Step one, is it a hoax? Okay, and if it is, then revert back to the New World Order agenda. 2, is this a mild flu or a bad flu that they're blowing out of proportion? Then go back and revert back to Agenda 2021 or Agenda 2030. Is this the real deal? And this is like a legitimate, typical, well, not your typical once every 100 years flu that goes around decimating countries and people and economies? That's happened in history? That's another angle to look at it. We don't know because we've had the wool pulled over our eyes so many times with so many false flags, with so many, we don't even know what's true anymore. And that's the problem. I wanted to, one last Mike of the Night song. And guys, don't forget to watch the series that I'm doing here with Supreme Canon. If you go under videos here, guys, it's right here. It's called The Civil War of the Elites, Part 2, ready to play. And Part 1's here. So if you watch Part 1 here, it links to Part 2 at the end. Part 1 is, where'd it go? Right here. Civil War on the Elites, Part 1 introduction. You want to watch this video first? We got Spark Jive wanting to call in. All right, what's up? Hey, Spark Jive, what's up, buddy?
How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing really good.
I guess I just wanted to add a little bit about the whole hoax angle.
Sure.
Okay, I think I think most people are sort of leaning towards the hoax angle now. Is that I don't know if I'm just assuming that or most people are actually seeing that way, but I'm just going to add a little more to it.
Go ahead.
So you believe in the germ theory, correct?
Sure.
Well, there used to be actually two schools of thought.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a germ theory where people believe that these viruses and bacteria infiltrate the body and then make them sick.
Okay.
And then there was another theory or another thought called terrain theory.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the angle. What's his name? David Icke is going into right now.
Yeah, David Icke's been just saying that this doesn't even exist at all.
I don't agree with that, but well, according to terrain theory, they believe that bacteria and viruses are actually from within, not from the outside.
Oh, okay.
So what it does is it basically the body using viruses and bacteria to detox the body. It's a healing process.
Okay.
Which way do I go with this angle? So basically, they're saying that the cells, our bodies, create viruses to detox its system. Usually, like dead cells and metals.
Mm-hmm. I'm following you. Continue.
Yeah. So in that thought, you cannot contract viruses from other people.
Okay. So
only way for you to get it, there's only one way, basically only one way, is by injecting it into you.
Okay. So now summarize what you just said in a sentence. So collaborate yeah.
Viruses are created within your body to detox your system.
Yes. And I believe that happens. I believe we have several hundred viruses in us.
Exactly. Actually, some doctors say there's hundreds of thousands.
Right. Okay. I would not argue that at all. I believe that. Yes. So
basically, I don't know. I think that's why, like, when I first called in, I said it's viral, but it's not really viral in the sense that it's not people transmitting it. Like, this is all a fear propaganda.
Okay.
And it's just to inject you with a vaccine, just that's the only way you'll get it.
Yeah, because if you want to look back in history, if you want to go back to 1918, a lot of witnesses from that time said that the flu vaccine killed more people than the flu itself.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The vaccine probably came around at the end of it, and I believe it was more aspirin poisoning that killed most people during that time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the whole vaccine and the virus being transmitted, that theory came about in 1800s when they couldn't even see it.
Microscopically.
Exactly. You need an electron microscope to see it, and they didn't have that at the time. This was all guessing game here, but they went with the one that's profitable.
I understand the angle now.
So yeah, that way you can medicate them, you can give them shots, not like, okay, eat well, get lots of rest, take hot baths, detox your body, you're going to be healthy. No, you need us. You need medication to help you.
Right, dependency. Just like they want to get this world what do you call this, basic income and all that crap and make us more and more dependent on governance.
Exactly.
So they're taking a medical standpoint on that. They've been doing it for, the last 5-6 decades with vaccines, and now they're moving in with Big Pharma will roll in and start monopolizing even further.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone's going to have to get the shot.
Okay. Well, guys, you know what? I got a view from space, and that's it. I'm watching this, I'm watching this on the moon, watching Earth. I'm watching everything happen basically from everywhere, and I'm listening to what everyone's saying, right? And that's why you're here, Spark. That's why you're here talking to us tonight.
Yeah, that's it. Just sharing what I believe. That's all.
That's it, and that's why you called in, because that's important, and that's why I'm the guy. I'm just sitting back and I'm watching this from space, and I throw in a couple of my theories. Watching it from different angles, seeing different countries that are being affected with it that nobody ever talks about, and yeah, it makes sense what you're saying. Yes.
Like, I didn't want to say this the first time I called because there's two out there, but since it seems like most people are leaning towards the hoax angle, I think they could kind of integrate it, possibly even consider it.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you calling, and come on the show next week if you want to do a follow-up a week later as whatever progresses. Call in and let us know.
I'll try. Yep. Just wanted to ask everyone, look into terrain theory, and go at it.
Terrain theory?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look it up later when I'm in bed.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
Have a good one.
See you.
So we have all great angles here. Spark Jive. Always in the comments, always adding to the show. All right, guys, it's been 3 hours now. It's hard to sit here for 3. It's not that I don't want to talk. It's like picture talking on the phone for 3 hours. It's hard, guys. And 3 hours is my limit. So, guys, okay. Don't forget to check out this thing that I'm doing here with Supreme Canon. We're gonna do part 3 sometime next week. I did a story with the Macronicle, gold, oil, and uranium. China's economy contracts for the first time on record. Is China's golden age done? Is the Chinese golden age era gone? Working on my garden. Check out the channel, guys. Share the channel. This channel is heavily suppressed. Check it out, guys. Be part of it, any way, shape, or form. Don't forget to buy me a coffee, $1 a month on Patreon. Don't forget to pick up this cool shirt, Mike in the Night shirt. And people messaging me on Facebook like crazy. And don't forget to send me show tips. You want to send me show tips? Here's my Facebook. And I'll give you guys my Instagram. Go ahead and send me show tips on here, guys. I always read them. If I don't reply, it's not because I didn't read it. It's just I get overwhelmed with some messages sometime. We're gonna get, everyone's asking for Layla to come on. We'll get her on next week. Maybe if she's available. I don't even have her real Skype anymore. I don't even know what her Skype is because she's changed it. I'll just do a story with her, like just do a recording, like a 20-minute, 30-minute just discussion like I've been doing with Supreme Canon and other people too, right? So, yeah, there's the mic in the night. It's so good. The stuff's so cool. I don't know. I just, yeah, baby. All right, guys. National Anthem time.
Gemini King, Mike in the Night, and the Gemini crew.
Just absurd.
So let's just talk about the world, 'cause you're here with us tonight. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Mike it through the night, you're here with Mike in the night. Let's just talk about the world. Give this page another curl, 'cause you're here with us tonight.
Remember, guys, stay safe. And if you can't stay safe, be careful.